Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hello. Good afternoon. And you're currently on Bell to Bells, youtube.com/slash Bell to Bells, our YouTube's channel, where today we are continuing our weekend celebration for in cooperation in no, not in cooperation, in what's the word I'm looking for?
Collaboration?
In co-promotion with Pro Wrestling Illustrated for the PWI Women's 150. Thank you. Thank God I have people with me this afternoon. Wonderful people who are here to kick this off. We've got a whole bunch of stuff planned for today. I'll get to that in a little while. But as it stands right now, we are going to kick this off with a 3-hour live stream or so. We'll see how things go. With kicking it off with, you never know what can happen. It's live, right? Fantastic people here today who were part of the PWI Women's 150 ranking committee. And we're going to start off by chatting about this. And let's just run through who these people are. We've got Kevin McElvany, who is the editor-in-chief of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and whose last name I'm never sure if I'm pronouncing correctly.
So it's McElvany, and at Wackelvany is meant to rhyme with it because I'm wiggity whack.
Okay, well, you see, that's a good thing then, right there. We've also got JPQ, Big Paws on a Pup, good friend, and also Joshi, connoisseur extraordinaire. Good to see you, JPQ, this morning.
Warren, I'm happy to be back, buddy. I don't have anything that rhymes with my name, but still stoked to be here.
We've also got Kristen Ashley, who is the editor-in-chief and co-founder of Bell to Bells and frequent PWI contributor as well. Nice to see you.
Sorry about the tech issues. Hi. I thought I'd hardwire my computer, and it turns out it just messed everything up. So I'm back, though.
Well, there you go. The important thing is that you're back. And last but also not least, we've got the host of a Wrestling Gal podcast, who is also, you can also find her stuff on SES Scoops, on WrestleZone. She's also, you can also find her on Bell to Bells and on Women's Wrestling Talk podcast. It's Ella J, everyone. How you doing?
Hello,
Ella?
I'm great. Good afternoon or morning if you're still Kristen. How is everybody today?
I'm great. I hope everyone is great too. Glad to have you all here. So let's get to the crux of the matter. Let's start talking about why we're here. We're just chatting over the PWI Women's 150 that was released a couple of days ago on Thursday. Pretty good reception. But before we actually start into the nitty gritty, and maybe Kevin can start us off here, because this is always a question that pops up. And what's your criteria? What are you basing this on? And because people don't, they don't read the magazine, which is because the criteria is always there. So for people who don't read the magazine, Kevin, tell us about what the process is.
So first off, here is the magazine. Finally got the print copies in for our contributors. We'll be sending those out this week. But have the section right here. So we do list the criteria. Forgot I was mirrored in the magazine. Kristen rightly pointed out that I neglected to include the evaluation period anywhere in there, which is a huge oversight. But as we said on Twitter, it's October 1st, 2020 to September 30th, 2021. That's important because a lot of people look at a common thing like Hikaru Shida had the championship for a year. Why is she not a little higher? Mm-hmm. Because much of that was before our evaluation period. Charlotte Flair has been doing amazing lately. Why is she not higher? Well, if you looked in the evaluation period, there was a lot of inactivity in there. Sure. Speaking of activity, probably mention that up front just because this is the minimum to get on the list. A minimum requirement of 10 matches wrestled during that evaluation period, or if not that, because some promotions run a little less frequently. Some NWA is a good example. They'll tape in batches and have big events less frequently, but still significant. You can also qualify by competing in 6 matches in 6 separate months. This is the same as with the PWI 500.
Sure.
And the other criteria also line up with the PWI 500. So if you're familiar with that, you would already know this. But for those who don't, the in-ring achievement is the biggest thing. So people talk about these lists as being kayfabe. In a way, that's true, because we look at wrestling it's both sport and entertainment. That's what it is. So in-ring achievement would include championships won, contended for, defended successfully over the evaluation period, tournaments won, other major matchups that are maybe not technically tournaments, like the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, those things come to mind. That's really the biggest thing. And if you're doing that on a bigger stage, that's really going to go a long way for you.
Sure.
The second most important criteria, I would say, is influence. And influence can mean within your own promotion, the push that you're receiving, what you mean to that promotion or your division overall, but also to the industry at large. So we'll talk a little bit about this as we go through the list, but that can mean different things. It can mean, doesn't necessarily have to mean you're the top star on TV every single week.
Right.
There are different ways to be considered influential. And just to offer like a preview of that, someone like a Cody Rhodes, who would not necessarily in AEW have the most championships or anything like that, but he's consistently done well in the PWI 500 because he's so influential within the business. And, just trainer, a lot of other things. So really rambling here. Technical ability is the next one.
Well, they're good examples, Kevin. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah. So technical, but yeah, it's important because people look at like, well, what does that mean? Technical ability is the next one. And technical ability means the moves you're doing in the ring, the stories you're telling in the ring, the quality of your matches. Largely subjective. I would say that, when we're considering somebody strongly on their technical ability, most of the time it's not going to be too controversial. I mean, you could say this person's a little better than that person, depending on what your taste is. But
sure.
Generally speaking, we all know what a good match sort of looks like and what a good story sort of looks like. So that's another one. And, by committee, we narrow that down. And then the final criteria would be the competition. So that's both the breadth and diversity of competition. So the quality of the competition, meaning like, are you facing the top stars in your promotion? If you're an independent wrestler, are you facing, people from all over the place? Are you facing a bunch of people who are not as established yet, rookies, and, just easily going over them? Or are you really testing yourself out? And then, for better or worse, you have your wins and losses. All these things are considered. Some people will score, it's not math. It's mostly objective criteria with a couple subjective ones in there. And then it's everyone in the committee trying to
agree
objectively and subjectively figure out what it all means.
just to agree.
To agree. Yeah, that in itself is a big challenge sometimes. I'm sure we'll get into that at least a little bit.
Sure, we'll probably talk about a little about it. JPQ, myself, and Ella, we were all rookies this year. Kevin and Kristen have done it before, and for the 500 as well. And maybe Kristen, I know you and Kevin talked a lot about this. Why did last year the list was at 100, right? Boosted up to 150. Why? How did that decision come about to add 50 more spots on the list?
Well, it's getting hard. Last year we had a really hard time fitting 100 people, 100 women, and felt like we left a lot of women off. And, now, even during COVID, right now, there's these like reemergence of titles, there's new titles, there's reemergence of like new promotions, new women's divisions. I mean, now it's even harder, and the indies are blowing up because now that stuff is back. And so even at 150, I mean, we just decided, we came together and there was the PWI poll where it was supported by fans that it gets extended. And we came together and we said, okay, so where do we start? And we thought, let's start at 150 and we'll go from there. And it was still really, really tough. It's going to continue to grow.
Oh, it's going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
Well, that's good news.
Got to.
It has to.
It was so hard. It was hard this year.
Yeah, it was.
This year there were people that we were like, oh, we don't want to leave them off. And like we talk about, it has to be contentious. Like it has to be contended, right? It has to be prestigious. But there's still people that we left off that were like, ugh. And now too, all these countries are opening up that weren't open in the last year. So Canada and Australia and the UK, now they're opening up. So there's even more talent. So it's probably going to be even harder if we stick to 150. But we haven't made any decisions on that yet. Like it's just going to keep getting harder and harder.
And it's a good problem to have. Let's
Yeah.
be frank, like as far as that goes, it's that means there's a breadth of talent. That means there's more and more women working and in exciting positions out there doing great stuff. So yeah, it's really good to be able to break it open. I just want to take a minute to say hello to everyone who's joining us live here today. We're going to be streaming for a couple of hours, doing a whole bunch of things. Stick around. Right now, we're talking about the 150 list. And look, I know we've talked about. We a bunch of us have been on podcasts this week. We've been over the top 5, but I can appreciate that maybe some people haven't caught any analysis from us and maybe are tuning in here to chat. So why don't we talk about one more time about the top 5 the top 5 women who ranked on the 150 this year. Of course, number 1 being Bianca Belair, who took the top spot. Is there anyone among you who just wants to talk about it a little bit? How Ella, would you like to start this off talking about Bianca's top ranking here?
Sure, because Bianca ended up getting my vote for it, like we talked about. And so Bianca Belair has definitely had an incredible year. And again, it really came down like we said, like work rate and activity versus like influence, and of course all the in-ring stuff that Bianca Belair has done. And so Bianca Belair, I think, was number 1, a large part due to her influence and like the cultural impact, especially. She won the Women's Royal Rumble at the beginning of 2021, and then had a lot of momentum going into WrestleMania, where she main evented WrestleMania with Sasha Banks as the first 2 Black women to ever main event WrestleMania. So that really went beyond the whole scope of wrestling and really contributed to a huge part of representation. And then they won an ESPY, and so that was really history making. And then she had successful defenses against the likes of Carmella and of course Billie, and then obviously she beat Sasha Banks. And so she was really on a tear leading up to SummerSlam, which we won't talk about. But Bianca Belair Bianca Belair has like no doubt. And even after she lost that, though, she immediately won the number 1 contendership and was immediately back in the title picture. So she's definitely obviously had ups and downs like everybody, but a lot of it was up on that upward trajectory. And she's like gained a whole new mainstream scope to women's wrestling, is again main eventing WrestleMania. So she's definitely had a stellar year.
And none of us here, I think, are in a position to really speak about how important she was for the Black community. None of us here are really in a position to speak on that. But a lot of our peers and a lot of people that we follow were extremely excited about it. It was clearly a very important moment on that level as well. So that also factored in, and it's a good choice, right? And we even have Phantom Arc here, Phantom Arc 82 in the chat says Bianca had a stellar year and it felt organic, not forced at all. And that's also very important. You felt like they were trying to push her down our throats. Once they dropped the vignettes, you all remember the vignettes, right? It's like, I can run fast, I can play trivia better than anyone, like all that, because hey, we're all dumb enough we're all too stupid to understand what EST means, right? So
I like that because it was kind of like the Mr. Perfect videos.
Yeah, but without the like the corny charm to it, because Bianca's the real deal, whereas Hennig had this, he sort of leaned into it, and it I don't know. Look,
wow, you're gonna ruffle some feathers with that. Curt Hennig was a champion amateur wrestler, but you're right.
Know,
he was not the CrossFit athlete that Bianca was, though. And probably worth mentioning too that Bianca was legitimately the biggest new star created by WWE.
Yes,
over the last year. I mean,
this is true.
You had some people who broke out in new ways. Roman Reigns arguably doing the best work of his career. You had Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley do amazing new things, and then more recently Big E. But Bianca really became a star and came into her own this year, and
yes,
that's very important. And also, I don't know if we specifically mentioned this, but had not lost a singles match going into SummerSlam, and then a few more losses at house shows and things since then. Had not lost a singles match since the one singles loss she had to Billie last December. which is impressive. I mean, even in WWE, that's very rare for a wrestler especially one who does not have a championship for several months, to go on that long of an undefeated streak. Very impressive.
Anakin GMT in the chat says she needed to throw a football and then catch it herself.
Or swat the gum away with
or swat the gum away. That's what I was waiting for.
Let's move on to number 2 then, where we have our number 2 was Utami Hayashishita. John, JPQ.
Yes.
I think I butchered her last name. Hayashishita.
No, you did pretty good. Hayashishita.
Thank you. Kristen's rolling her eyes. JPQ saying you did pretty good. Okay. I'm going with JPQ's assessment of the situation.
That's
just
right.
because it makes
All
me
right.
feel better.
He knows better than I do. You're right.
Tell us about Utami and her number 2 spots.
It's been a wonderful year for Utami in a lot of ways. I mean, we were talking about significance, right? And I think I actually put this in an email to the selection committee back when we were still kind of deciding who should be number 1 through 5 and all this. And a lot of it comes down to historical significance, right? And for everything that Ella J said about Bianca, you could make the same case for Utami on the work rate side, right? And the in-ring ability to tell a compelling professional storytelling kind of match, right? And then the consistency at which she was able to go out there and perform defense after defense, tag team after tag team, faction match after faction match. It was all there, consistent from October 1st through the 5-Star Grand Prix and the end of September here. Nobody, in my opinion, and this is proved both through Dave Meltzer and the 5-star ratings, as well as her overall ranking on Cage Match and other websites like Rappel. Nobody has had a more consistent year in ring with regards to match quality than Utami Hayashishita, and she got, that's what boosted her up to number 2. So, it's one of those things where she's a newer star to a lot. She's only been in the business 3 years. She came in with a lot of, hype around her, and we talk about answering that bell and being what people see you as being, and she really kind of crowned herself this year as being somebody to be paid attention to, not just in Japan, but from a global presence as well.
Yeah, there you go. I think that does give the good paintbrush strokes decision. I think it's safe to say, and anyone can jump in on this one. It's a little bit a peek behind the curtains here. There was a lot of contention between our number 1 and number 2 spots. There was a lot of discussion within the committee, as opposed to anything else on the list between Utami and Bianca, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Worth mentioning, so there were 2 other people on the ratings committee who are not here for this meeting, and appropriate to bring them up now, I think. So Pat LaPrade, author of Sisterhood of the Squared Circle, compiles women's rankings for our website and in the magazine for the monthly ratings, was on the committee last year with Kristen and myself. And then Candace Cordelia, who anyone who subscribes to PWI's YouTube channel has, and this one, she's appeared on Bell to Bell's YouTube channel as well, right. But all over the place doing interviews, great work, just fantastic interviewer and writer and so many other things. The 2 of them were also on the committee, and the reason I mention them here, apart from giving them the credit they deserve, is they each kind of took up the case strongly for one of those 2 women. Pat LaPrade made a very strong case for Utami Hayashishita to be now I'm second guessing how I say it, to be number 1, based, on this incredible year she had in the ring, the matches she had, the awareness she brought to Stardom, kind of really putting a fire under the Joshi world and making it a little more visible internationally, because people were seeking out Stardom and like, oh, well, I hear about this match. I got 5.5 stars. I have to go see it. I heard about this match. I heard about this. And certainly, she's not the only one, but she was leading the charge, and especially from this win-loss championship in-ring achievement perspective. Leaving our first meeting that we had, we all tentatively agreed she would actually be number 1 on this list, which I was shocked by, and I still had some misgivings about. And we continued to talk about it later. And one person who really spoke up in defense of that was Candace, who just kind of reached out to me later and like, look, I don't want to make a big thing out of this. I know I'm newer here. Don't want to speak out of turn or anything, but Bianca is just huge within the world of wrestling, and what she did at WrestleMania was so important culturally. And I mean, just, it was in terms of Bianca having this great year in the ring, great matches, in-ring achievement, her being culturally important as a Black woman in the role, but also she had this pop culture crossover appeal that it's not too easy to find anymore in the wrestling world. And WWE has been really trying to do it in recent years.
Yes, they have.
A lot of credit. They've been getting some people involved, working really hard at it, which is the attention she brought at the Rolling Loud Festival and her post on social media with Megan Thee Stallion and just all this other stuff. She was bringing in new fans in a very real way. And that is huge. And especially for, considering 5-6 years ago, people would argue that women's wrestling doesn't draw, which is ridiculous. But she's proving that it does, and that she's bringing in new viewers. And, again, certainly not the first or only person, but none of that can go overlooked. And we really did have a back and forth about this. And I mean, I'll say this here. I said it in the column in the magazine as well. It came down to a vote. We voted and we had, a committee of 7, and it was 4-3 for Bianca. It was really that close. Utami was almost number 1. And I think the cool thing about that is whatever way it went, and I do think we made the right choice, but had it gone the other way, I would have been proud to have Utami as our number 1 as well. I don't know what all of you think, but that's how I see it.
Same. I would have been cool. I've been on
I would have
that.
felt like I would have won, right? So that's always a good feeling. Yes. No, I mean, look, I don't have a problem with Bianca. It really was, I came into the meeting as well with Bianca on number 1 on my mind. I already had made that up. Like you said, Pat made a really great argument. And then I'm like,
very compelling.
Then I get stuck to like, well, I'm not going to hear any arguments otherwise. But I wanted Utami as number 1, and it's okay though. Like, I want that on the record that I'm not like mad. That Bianca
That's all right. So Joshi Twitter, do not direct your anger at Kristen.
Please don't get mad.
Nah, just direct it to me per usual. It's fine.
Per usual. I'm a BBQ.
It's sort of used to taking your bumps there.
That's right.
But yeah, it was a very interesting conversation, and as far as Utami goes, like Carissa Lopez in the chat just said, she says, I haven't watched or heard of Utami or any Joshi from Stardom, but I'm definitely going to check her out. And I think that goes to a lot. That was one of Pat's main points, as Kevin pointed out, whereas people have, like, even myself, I'm a Joshi baby. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, I'm fully aware. JPQ keeps sending me DMs to say, you got to watch this. You got to watch this.
Yes.
Thank God for him. But yeah, she definitely, she and Shuri in that match definitely helped turn a lot of eyeballs over there to discover the quality of the wrestling that's happening in Japan. Deonna Purrazzo at number 3. Kristen, why don't you speak a little bit about Deonna Purrazzo at number 3?
I just want on the record that I'm not the happiest that she dropped the belt last night. And I love Mickie James, so I don't want LJ coming after me, okay? But I just want to say, also because I know Mickie James, but I just want to say I'm a little bummed she dropped it, but I'm glad that she dropped it after the evaluation period. Because in my opinion, number 3 is exactly where she belongs. And I had predicted, actually, that she was going to be number 1 next year because of her trajectory. I mean, like, forget about, there's other women on this list coming up soon that have been a Forbidden Door, but she's been a Forbidden Door and then won the belts, which is huge to be carrying 2 promotions belts, and they're pretty prestigious belts at that, to be walking around like that. So, she represented a different side of the Forbidden Door, frankly, and has, technical abilities that most women do not have in the ring. And then has defended it against some crazy, like, her strength of competition has been probably the best, I would say. I mean, it's insane who she's all across the board, and she's not afraid to defend her title and not afraid of anyone who she's going to defend it against. And And, you know, she comes from a place that did not treat her well to Impact, who then she plays it smart and says, I'm not going to sign a contract right away. Let's see what they got for me. And they give her the belt right away. And they're like, here, be our lady. And then for like nearly a year, she drops it once for a few weeks, but nearly a year, she's got this belt and she is dominant. And so, I mean, that to me, number 3, like, I would say the rest of the 5 was pretty easy. I think we all just sort of fell in line with it. It was, you know, she deserves it.
Yeah, she really does. She's
Mhm.
absolutely fantastic. Well, we even got a nice compliment. Well, a comment that compliments is what I'm trying to say. What we're talking about here from the Shadow Ranger, the Shadow Ranger. Welcome to Warren Hayes on a Sunday. I don't follow Joshi, they say, so I can't speak on Utami, but I personally feel that Diana had a better year than Bianca. That being said, I'm okay with Bianca as number 1. And thank you very much for the comment. Thank you everyone who's in the chat right now, by the way. But guys and gals, this is we sort of talked about it behind the scenes, especially once the magazine was off to print, right? That, you know, with everything that Bianca has, that Diana's been up to, you know, had maybe we had had an extra couple of weeks, maybe she could have been bumped up a little bit. What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Kayla.
It's very possible. And like Kristen said, like Diana has had this like undeniable run. And like she was literally undefeated in her last 15 singles matches on Impact, excluding Masha, because I guess that was outside of the evaluation period. So 14 singles matches on Impact, like they're starting out. So that is just crazy. And she has been everywhere in the 2 belts, and so I feel like she brought a lot of prestige. And obviously her story, though, like coming out from WWE, and now maybe Mickie James is kind of on that same trajectory like she was after being released from WWE. But I feel like you can definitely make a case too for Diana definitely being number 1 as well. Like if not top 3 is definitely well deserved. You can make a case for any of 1, 2, or 3, I feel like, but it's undeniable that Deonna Purrazzo has ruled like women's wrestling this past year.
Absolutely. I agree. JPQ, you want to add something?
Yeah, actually, just to tag off that last point that Ella put out there.
Sure.
As somebody that again focuses a lot of his energy in Japan, you know, Deonna was one of those ones that was always on my list, right? And
Sure.
I kind of created this theme of to the side of like historical significances, right? Especially in the top 5 for various reasons, and then kind of picking an order from there, at least in my own individual rankings. And the thing about Deonna that isn't celebrated enough, in my opinion, is that her leaving WWE and then sticking to North America the way she did. Now, granted, I'm sure she would have been other places if, you know, COVID restrictions and this, that, and another thing. But the fact that she knew she had North America, she can go to Canada, win an Impact title. She can go to Mexico, win the AAA Reina de Reinas title. And then she can do what, most importantly, I think is one of the more impressive achievements this year, which is take her titles, regardless of which one it is, and defend them at different independent shows all across the country, right? And so now she's doing a job with regards to not just building herself, but building the scene around her, right? And after this mass exodus of people over the last couple years to WWE and AEW and NXT, and man, the women's division in America is super thin. But she was the one that helped elevate everybody else over the course of 2020, 2021 to a level that they wouldn't be at without her. And I think that's something that should be celebrated more. And it's the reason that she's not just considered in the top 5. It's not the reason that she's ranked top 3, but it's the reason that you can make a case that she should be or that she could be number 1 on your list, number 2 on your list, or 3, 4, or 5. So great year for her.
Those are some excellent points. Some very, very good points. Thank you, John. Got a couple of more comments I want to pop up here from Mark Worrell. Says Utami has been a dominant champion in Stardom, whereas Bianca lost to Becky Lynch under a minute. Utami should have been number 1. I'm not gonna lie, this was also chatted about behind the scenes, but you know what? This Becky Lynch, and maybe Kevin can talk about it. This Becky Lynch victory actually put Becky Lynch on the list.
Yeah, and that was another thing that we talked about, because when we started these meetings, we didn't know if Becky was going to have enough matches, because she didn't have any way to pull that 6 matches in 6 months thing, because she had not competed at all until August. We kind of thought, okay, maybe she's going to be a little bit protected and she won't make the list at all, even though she's champion, which doesn't look great for us, but it's happened with the PWI 500 a number of times. We've had Brock Lesnar as champion, not on the list. We've had Goldberg as champion, not on the list, because they don't wrestle enough. I thought maybe that was going to happen because they were tweaking Becky's character so much. And at the risk, I don't know where I was going with that. I looked at something in the chat. Sorry, but that's
ignore the chat. That's what I tell Kristen. Ignore the chat, Kevin.
I'm not gonna. The chat does not exist. But Becky did, in fact, she was not as protected with this character change. I think there was a real risk that people were going to cheer her, and
sure.
I don't think boo Bianca, but like it would have been kind of uncomfortable because Becky was this hugely over babyface when she left. She was like approaching, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Maybe babyface is the wrong word for Stone Cold Steve Austin, but popularity,
yes,
of someone like that.
Absolutely.
And for her to come in and do that put us in kind of a tough spot. She did end up competing a lot at the house shows, so that got her on the list. She's top 40. I've seen arguments about that, whether she should be on the list at all, whether she should be much higher because she just decimated Bianca Belair, or if she should be much lower. I think there are arguments to be made in all sorts of different directions, but ultimately, if you look at wrestling as a sport and you compare this to, in boxing, if somebody came in and challenged somebody for the world heavyweight title after their match with somebody else got called off and they had no time to prepare for this opponent, and then they just landed a knockout punch after having, how many months off? Like, it was the entire evaluation period and then some. It was something like 16 months. That doesn't hurt Bianca too much in my view, because that's sort of a fluke victory. But the fact that she then beat her at all these rematches, that could be discussed. But ultimately, you also had Utami. Yeah, she had the title this whole year, but she lost to Micah in the 5-star Grand Prix. She went to a couple of time limit draws in the 5-star Grand Prix. And again, round robin tournament, I get it. But if you're going to say round robin tournament, it's a lot of activity, you're going to lose matches or have draws in some matches, then you have to give the same allowance for somebody at a house show and wrestling over and over again. So it's tricky, but I do think we made the right call there. Are there arguments to be made? Yeah, I mean, I think even before that, there were arguments to be made that Utami could be number one. But to me, I think we still landed in the right place. Absolutely.
I want to throw out one more comment before we go on to number 4 here from Gary here, who says, I was surprised no one from Tokyo Joshi Pro broke the top 20 for the amazing 12 months that promotion is having. I think Miyu should have been far higher than number 31. JPQ as our resident know-it-all. How do you feel about Miyu and TJP? And I'm not talking about the wrestler. I'm talking about the promotion. Not scoring more or higher.
Yeah, I think the only thing, I think TJPW is doing a really, really good job of this, right? And to make the case that Miyu should be higher, no arguments for me, right? put them all in the top 20. But really what it comes down to, in my opinion, with TJPW, where they've had a fantastic year, and again, that's represented with, they have the second most Joshi wrestlers, so they have the second most wrestlers from Japan in the list this year, is that they're still kind of new to the Western audience, right? They're not, DDT Pro and now WrestleUniverse.com are doing a fantastic job, and that's really
huge push
into international fans, but the reason that Maki's still ranked over Miyu, and the reason that Miyu is in the 30s, is because again, you can walk up to 10 wrestling fans today and say, hey, do you know who this wrestler is? And 8 out of 10 times they're not going to be able to tell you who it is, right? And that's where Miyu is right now. That's not going to stay that way. That's going to change, but in an effort of trying to put this together, in my opinion, you look at after the first 4 Stardom wrestlers in Utami, Shori, Tam, and Julia, and then Tsukasa Fujimoto, who, in my opinion, is having the best year from a match quality perspective out of Ice Ribbon, you know, then it's Maki and Miyu. So she's right there in the ranks with everybody else. Maki gets the, in my opinion, I think as we were talking about this, Maki got the better positioning just because of the AEW Western tournament and, you know, coming over and doing some stuff with AEW, where Miyu's still kind of sitting there waiting to come over, that she just doesn't have the household name brand yet in the West. And again, it certainly doesn't hurt her, but to be top 35, and she had a super strong push. I think that was another thing that we talked about with Deonna. If we would have had another couple weeks, so we would have gotten through Wrestle Princess, which I believe happened in October, if I remember correctly. I think it happened. So that match happened outside the evaluation period, technically. You know, if we would have extended a little bit or we would have waited a couple more weeks, there's no doubt in my mind that Miyu would have been ranked higher. I mean, she's the ace of TJPW, and she's somebody that, to that listener's point, should be recognized by a lot more people than she is, because she is fantastic at what she does.
We'll see what happens next year. And thank you. Clearly, you know, we've always got the passionate Joshi fans who pop in, and that's fantastic. And I hope you guys stick around, because when we're done here, we're going to be talking Joshi with Kayla and Alex from the Church of Joshi, as well as with May and Akki from ChocoPro. So that'll be fun. Hope you guys stick around for that.
Can I interject real quick? Before we move on, because Miyu was mentioned, every time she's brought up, I just have to say, for my money, the single best kick in professional wrestling right now with the skull kick. So just put professional opinion, have to put that out there, put her over.
That's right. Pink Striker, baby. Let's do it.
Let's keep breaking down to the number 4 spot. And Kevin, why don't you take this one here? Brit Baker, someone who has a very passionate fan base. Kevin, I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, and my wife's favorite wrestler right now, but
sure,
that's not why she is where she is. My wife was not on the committee. But just really, I think, changed the perception a little bit around women's wrestling in AEW. There are still some kinks to be worked out for sure, but there was that long stretch, and no disrespect to Hikaru Shida, because her matches were great. She's great. I think she was put in a difficult position where she's not on TV a lot. She was not given the highest quality of competition or like the most defenses at every point, you know. But there was this perception when Brit went and won the AEW World Women's Championship at Double or Nothing, that things were on the up. This massively popular personality who had made some huge strides in the ring as well. I think that should be pointed out. She really stepped it up during the pandemic. She was trained, and she talked about that in an interview with PWI. She meant the most, being one of the biggest stars in AEW, period, to that company out of anybody. And that, even within a company that does not necessarily give the most TV time or the most matches to the women on the roster, at least on, you know, the televised shows, that's big. And I really do think the DMD era, the popularity to it, the pops she gets when she comes out, even as a heel, they really have something there. So I think almost as much for what she did during the evaluation period, the lengthy reign as champion, the great matches, the influence within the promotion, I think some of this ranking is almost just the momentum she has and what we feel is going to come from all of this.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's going to be exciting to see where all of this goes, because she's fantastic. And you kind of feel like AEW has a little win in their sails in regards to their women's division. And it's a fun thing to say, as opposed to all the regular talking points that we have about their women's division. That's really good. Rounding out at number 5, we have Thunder Rosa. Anyone who wants to make the case for Thunder Rosa here?
That's Kristen's girl.
Yeah. I mean, so when we talk Forbidden Door, like, you know, we talked about Deonna having the belts, but really the Forbidden Door for women has been Thunder Rosa. And I think what really played a part, because frankly, you know, people were like, why isn't she number one? Frankly, she didn't hold a very major belt all year. She held the NWA belt for like the first 3 weeks, something like that, and then held the Warrior Wrestling, which is an indie belt, for like the last month. So that's really what prevented her from getting higher than 5. And part of the reason why she wasn't, you know, maybe she was on so many promotions and she wasn't holding big belts was because she has her own promotion. And what really sticks out for me for Thunder Rosa in the top 5 is that she's creating spots for other women at the table.
Yes.
I mean, that's really what is important here is like, yes, she's incredible. And yes, she's super over. It doesn't matter what city you're in and what promotion she's wrestling for, you're going to get a pop that's insane. She's also really pushing.
So about the pop, you know, Anakin, who is a mod of the Mr. Warren Hayes show and who's in the chat, likes to say these days that what was used to be called the Road Warrior pop should now be called the Thunder Rosa pop. And I'm completely on board with that. It makes a lot of sense. I
mean, it's like, even before she was signed, she had these pops that was like, why hasn't she been signed with AEW? And they liked her so much they bought out her contract from NWA. So she's hugely popular. And not only is she like, you know, creating places for women in the ring, but she's training them outside of the ring. She's giving them opportunities behind the camera, in production, in running businesses. And then she's doing stuff for the community. And it can't be said enough when people are picked to do that sort of thing. The same thing with Bianca. You know, she was like the face of WWE for a while because you could see her on every call for every partner they ever had. She was the face. And there's a reason why they do that. So, you know, for Thunder Rosa to be picked to be sort of this community leader and to do her own stuff. I mean, she's running charity shows. You know, the stuff that she's doing, it may not necessarily be in the criteria, but it's really super important, and it's progressing wrestling in a positive way.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah. JPQ, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, if I could piggyback off that, it's just to speak more on Thunder Rosa. We talk in professional wrestling sometimes about the not so great people, the good people, and the great people, right? And then you have someone like Thunder who, you know, surpasses all of that criteria, and she's one of the best people that you can meet in professional wrestling, right? And that needs to be celebrated, right? We need to hang our hats on those type of people more in the industry, in a lot of ways. And I don't think it's best exemplified other than Thunder Rosa, both from what Kristen said about, you know, providing jobs not just in the ring but outside the ring to women that may not have been there in the past. But I just think from a philanthropic side, I can never say that word. I try to commit it to it. But from a doing well, right, doing good in the community and things like that, she's somebody that has followed her from Tijuana, you know, to Texas, to LA, back to Texas, you know, and everywhere in between. Is that she's a helper bee, and like she goes out there and she helps people be better. She works with people to get out of situations that they're in and sees the best in everybody, right? And in an industry that a lot of times can be looked at as being not so great, right? She's up there and she's kind of, you know, helping as many people as possible, not just in the ring, but get to where they need to get personal achievement wise, as well as professional achievement wise. And for me, in a lot of ways, you know, that puts her on the top 5, no questions asked, because we just don't have those type of people in this industry to the level that we should.
Super compelling point there, John. Absolutely. And you know, Kristen is not lying about the pops, right? Because while we were doing our wrestling tour, our tour of shows in August, we saw her at the dark tapings at CM Punk's first Rampage, right? And I would argue that the only person who got a bigger pop than Thunder Rosa was CM Punk that night. And then we go to Warrior Wrestling. There's about 300 people in the room. She comes out. Suddenly it sounds like there's 1,000 people in the room.
Yeah.
Like
she wins the belt and it sounds like 3,000 people in the room.
It's just crazy, right? And and not to, like, Kylie Ray was defending that. And Kylie gets great reactions everywhere she goes too, you know, but it's just a little step over. She's really appreciated. Before we move into our last topic, just a quick comment. I want to pop out here from Brian Crosby in the chat, saying Hikaru Shida carried the division, the women's division, of course, during the crowdless era. I hope they use her more. Yes, it was a very trying time for her, and I think she did it. She did it with ability, class. It was not an easy spot to be put in, and I do believe. Look, I'm digging the feud that they're doing with her right now, with her and Serena Deeb. I think it's great. Let's focus on that. We're going to start wrapping this up. Before we do, we've talked about the top 5, but here's something we don't talk a lot about. Who did we leave off the list, right? That's not necessarily something that we discuss, because people always want to talk about the top 5. So I'd like to know from each of you, maybe 1 or 2 women that you feel were left off. And Ella, I know you have a couple on your mind right now. Why don't you tell us who you feel was left off the list?
Well, I said one on the Women's Wrestling Talk panel, I think the other day with Kristen was on there. I think one that I noticed was Ray Lynn, who's really, obviously now she's the Maryland Championship Women's Wrestling, but she's been doing a lot of tag team wrestling with Heather Monroe, and really a lot of stuff, not only in like Texas and Mission Pro, but the Northeast as well. So there could have been an argument made for her. And I feel like another one that I haven't heard anybody say is Alexis Falcon, because during the UK era, the UK obviously was shut down, but she was one of the few people besides like Mercedes Blaze, I know you guys mentioned too, but she was also doing a lot with Progress and a lot of other of the UK promotions when a lot of people weren't. And so she's been in the Progress women's title picture. She's been in like championship tournaments. She was also at Wrestle Queendom too. And so I feel like she's one who could have made the case. Granted, the UK was closed, but could have made the case that she could have been on the list too, as one of the, I think, the few active women on the UK scene during the period.
Those are fantastic points, and I guess especially when it comes to a woman like Ray Lynn, right? I think it really is a question of how many spaces we just have.
Yeah,
because I don't think any of us are just like poo-pooing her. It's more like, really? Okay, well, those are the tough choices we have to live with. John, JPQ, anyone come to mind?
Yeah, a couple. And it's funny enough, they're both from this promotion in Japan called Marvelous, right? Run by one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time, Chigusa Nagayo. And so we have, coming off injury and kind of following that same Becky Lynch type of year, right? We had Takumi Iroha, who came back, wrestled 3 or 4 matches on the Japanese independent scene, and is a very quick way of saying it. And then found herself in the Stardom 5-star, right? And she had a fantastic 5-star, almost won her block as an outsider coming in, and put up just memorable matches both against Shuri as well as Utami Hayashishita, and really made a name for herself. So she was left off the list, and somebody that, with, in hindsight, looking back, did she hit the criteria? Yes, she did. Could we have found a spot for her? Probably so. On that same logic, we had Rin Katakura, who is the number 2 in Marvelous in a lot of ways, 5-year wrestler, tag team champ over at Wave. Her work rate this year, I think she's over 55 matches already. She's paid, and again, on the Japanese independent scene, like, that's a lot, right? They only wrestle their home promotion 2 or 3 times a year, or 2 or 3 times a month, and then other sister promotions along the way. So for her to show up in Stardom, get some matches in there, work with the Seedlings and the Waves of the world. She had a fantastic run to the finals in the Catch the Wave tournament in 2021, losing to Miyuki Takase, who I think was like 141, I think. So she was somebody that, I could have made an argument for, to get on the list, looking at it again. But, overall, I think that, both with the mix of international wrestlers as well as wrestlers from North America, it's a pretty good cross-section of what women's wrestling is doing nowadays, and it's a very exciting time to be a fan of women's wrestling.
Kristen, who did we leave off the list according to you?
In my opinion, Riley Shepard could have easily made it. I think the only thing that prevented her was that her title, what did she hold? She held the Rogue Woman Warriors Championship. She defended it not at all. during the
Mhm.
evaluation period. So, but she's had a really great run with WWR Plus, with Beyond Wrestling. She has some pretty good wins over people like Lady Frost, Molly McCoy, Megan Bain, Kaya McKenna. I mean, she's really she's got some really good wins, and frankly, her gimmick is like amazing. And she's also a really amazing person, which
Oh, she's
isn't
so
really
wonderful.
necessarily a part of the criteria, but she's always on the look for the next big thing, and she's always so motivated and ambitious, and that alone will get you everywhere. So I know she'll be on next year. There's no doubt in my mind. And I'm not saying that because I'm gonna make sure of it. I just want to point that out. Like, I'm just saying I know she's very talented, and she's gonna be big.
Kristen sent a threatening message in the chat.
She will be on.
Kevin, who do you feel we lift off the list?
I mean, if you've already been mentioned, Ella hit on a good one in Mercedes Blaze. I was literally messaging, I think both of you, Warren and Kristen, but I know for sure I was talking to Kristen the night before, like, oh my God, how did we not have her on? She was in like on deck. Like, we had her in the running, but it's like, oh man, like she really did have this standout year. Himeka is another one from Stardom, the only representative of Donna Del Mondo who's not on the list. She did have some inactivity during the year, but I mean, she's fantastic, great powerhouse wrestler, does, you know, like John Cena-esque feats of strength, lifting two wrestlers up on her shoulders at the same time, that sort of thing. There's a few more. I know I'm going to leave some people out. Joslyn Navarro is another one. And I mean, we were taking the task for Twitter on that, and it was close, but I mean, she had a great year in AIW, in the Midwest, other Midwestern promotions. She's definitely on the up. I would not be surprised at all to see her on the list next year. Kenzie Page, New South, and a lot of great work there. Actually, arguably could have been in the 500 due to some of the intergender competition that she was doing. I know she was on the list at one point, I think, or almost on the list, and trickled off because we realized we missed this person. You know, it's a process, and not to like peel back the curtain too much, but like, yeah, sometimes it's like, oh, well, does this person really go on over this person? That sort of thing. And it is tough, and we're not ever totally sure we make the right choices with this. One last name I'll say, because I know we're running out of time, is Notorious Mimi, who's a very young wrestler.
Yeah.
Nevertheless been in the industry for a few years, multiple championships and I mean, maybe this is a local bias for me, but everyone else just nodded their heads. You know, she is big in this region that I reside in, the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, tri-state area. But I mean, she was collecting all these titles, you know, doing great work along the way. So I think, again, with her, as with these other women, it's just a matter of when, not if.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we have Anakin in the chat saying, I hope Shaza McKenzie can get on next year. We're just crossing our fingers that the Australian scene opens up more, and that all these great Australian wrestlers that we know and love can cross over as well. That's also part of a big deal. So we're going to wrap this up officially, folks. Thank you very much for joining. What if we do plugs really, really quickly, starting, let's say, with Kevin? Where can we follow all the good stuff, Kevin?
Oh yeah, we know I'm famously brief. Go to PWI-online.com. Everything is there. Or hop over to PWI's Twitter @officialPWI. We're the same on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook or on YouTube, all that good stuff. I just would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to all you lovely people for the amazing work you did on this issue. All of you, and to Candace and to Pat as well. Have to give a special shout out again to Kristen, because just effectively, like, the editorial direction of this issue was so much her doing. We sat down page by page and went through the layout. There were a couple things I had slotted that, like, you know, why don't we do this instead? And oh yeah, you're kind of right. You should be doing this job. So shout out to Kristen, shout out to Bell to Bells, the whole team. Thank you all for your support, and thank you to everyone watching this. You know, be sure to go and pre-order a copy of the magazine at PWI-online or womens150.com if you haven't already. I'm done.
Well, thank you, Kevin, and thank you very much for your support in what we're doing here this weekend at Bell to Bells. That's very much appreciated as well. Kristen, what about you?
I don't know how I can plug myself any better than Kevin just did, but
Okay,
you can
John. No, I'm kidding.
follow me. You can follow me at Kristen Ashley right here. That's what it looks like. On Twitter, you can follow Bell to Bells. Go to belltobells.com, read all our features, stick around. We've got some really cool stuff for today as well. So.
Yeah, I'm going to run that down in a second. Thank you very much, Kristen. JPQ, big paws on a pup. What about you?
That's where you can find me, Warren, at Big Paws Pup on Twitter. And I got a couple irons in the fire. More to come later, I'm sure. But for now, right, go over the Twitter space. I'm over there hanging out, being my old knucklehead self. And, we'll see what's on the horizon in the future.
Thank you so much for being here, JPQ. We appreciate it, especially with the sick babies. That's really cool. Ella J, I mean, you're all over the place, but please. No, and I mean, I don't mean she's all over the place. Like, she's literally, like, doing things everywhere. That was a terrible.
Wow, Warren. That was.
I'm going to go over here.
But yeah, like Warren said, I have a lot of links, but if you go to my Twitter right here, like much like Kristen, you can go right here at It's Ella J on Twitter, and then all of my links to Bell to Bells, my podcast, WrestleZone, SC Scoops, and everything else is in the link tree in my bio. So yeah.
And Ella does fantastic work, and she collaborates often with us at Bell to Bells. We're not only happy to call her a contributor, but also to call her a friend. Thank you very much, Ella. It's very appreciated. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this panel this morning. I really, really appreciate it. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And if you're watching live right now here on belltobells.com, don't go away, because we're going to transition. We're going to keep on moving. We're going to keep things going here. We're definitely going to keep things going as we have a full day of things planned again for our Women's 150 weekend celebration. In a few moments, I'm going to be joined by Kayla and Alex of the Church of Joshi, who, as well as May and Akki from ChocoPro. We're going to be having a nice little roundtable about Joshi, which is something we're very, very excited to talk about. But hey, throughout the day here today, we've still got great stuff. For instance, last night, Mickie James at Bound for Glory won the Knockouts Women's Championship. We talked about it in the panel. Well, Ella J, who was just with us a few seconds ago, is going to be broadcasting an interview. Well, she actually recorded an interview. I'll get this right. She recorded an interview. We're going to be broadcasting it a little later on the channel with Mickie James the day after. We've got the interview. It's us. But that's fantastic. And it's a nice long conversation that she had, and we're really excited to share that with you. We've also got an interview with Ty Conti coming up later in the day today. NWA Women's Champion Camille as well. We've got wrestling legend Angelina Love. We're talking to the Hex NWA Tag Team Champions, Allison Kay and Marty Bell. And later today, much later today, an interview that I conducted with Yuka Sakazaki, which was, look, honestly, the most adorable human being I have ever spoken to. It is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And of course, we put out a bunch of content yesterday as well. Ella J conducted another interview with Trisha Dora that appeared. Deanna Perazzo also, we have an interview out there, and a big interview, over 50 minutes of chatting with Mercedes Martinez, and that was a thrill for me to be able to chat with her. She doesn't give interviews often, so I felt very privileged to be able to do that. We had and we talked about Retribution. She got in on the details. We learned some stuff about it on, the whole mask situation. When did she find out she was going to be a part of Retribution? How did she leave the Retribution angle? We all talk about that. We even talk about, what happened after All Out 2019 when she was the Joker in the Casino Battle Royal over there. So that's also, check that out. We got so much great stuff coming up. And we're just getting ready here, getting things warmed up. We're waiting on Akki and May to join us. Should be soon, because I've got Kayla and Alex who are in the green room right now. See, Alex is already emoting, and no one else, because she's literally just doing it just for me and Kayla, which is fantastic. But we're going to be joining. They're going to be joining us in just a second, and I hope you guys are having a great Sunday. Hope everything is going your way. There was so much wrestling again this weekend. With Dynamite on Saturday and Bound for Glory and all the shows in between. So yeah, everything should be coming together here. It's a live stream. What are you going to do? There we go. So we're just on the wait here. Got to stay hydrated. That's important too. We have to stay hydrated. It's crucial. There we go. So we're going to be starting in just a few minutes. I want to say a big thank you and a big hello to everyone who's joining us in the chat right now. You can also let me know in the meantime, what we just finished talking about the PWI 150, What are your thoughts? Who do you think should have been in the who do you think should have been in the 150 at this point, right? That's we can definitely chat about who should have been in the top 5. That's always a good point of contention, right? Always people wondering what the deal is. And yeah, Gary is right here. I'm just going to pull this up here. We'll chat a bit with the chat while waiting. Gary says it's 2 a.m. in Japan now. May and Akki work so hard. Look, here's a little behind the scenes here. When we thought about doing this live, and we thought about the time difference, and we're like, look, it's going to be like in the middle of the night for them. Sometimes you just shoot your shot, right? You give it a try, and you're like, okay, well, let's just jump in and see. And see how and see what they might maybe they'll accept, and they did, because yes, they do work very, very hard, and it is very, very late, and trust me, we'll be very, very appreciative of them being on here. I'm excited, and I had a chance to talk with them a couple of months ago for the 500, because May was on the was on the 500, so that was really cool. So while we're waiting, and since my big dumb face isn't always super exciting, I think I'm going to bring in Alex and Kayla here. I'm going to I gave them the heads up here, and I think I'm going to pop them in here.
Hi.
Hello, both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
So good.
Good.
We're so excited.
We're so excited. I'm on my second cup of coffee. I'm ready to go.
I've had no coffee. So and I'm still this energetic.
Are you
Tells you anything?
Like, I think I'm on my third at this point, so it's like I'm with Alex. But Kayla, is it just because you don't like coffee, or is it just like?
So I was too lazy to make any.
Okay.
And I was gonna go get. I don't really like hot coffee. I'm not like a huge coffee drinker. Alex knows I'm a sugar-free Red Bull girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So I ran out of my Red Bull yesterday. So it's sparkling water and hopes and dreams. But I'm still so excited without caffeine, if that tells you anything.
Well, there you go. I mean, it is very exciting. And look who's people are excited. Look at this in the chat. Anakin GMT, Church of Joshi, let's go.
That's our beautiful congregation.
Did you guys have a sermon this morning?
No, this is our sermon.
No.
So we have brought church to you guys.
My God, I feel doubly privileged. Doubly privileged.
We told everyone the Sunday service was here, so we had to Joshi bless the service.
And I'm sure we'll get into this, but trust me, this is huge for our community. We love ChocoPro.
Well, let's talk a little bit. No, but let's talk about it a little now, because I did get message that Akki and May are working out some technical snags on their end. So they're coming. They're on their way. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. This is why we reached out to you when we started putting this together. We're like, wouldn't this be great if we could get Kayla and Alex to come on, chat with Akki and May? I'm sure they'd love it. But why is it a big deal for your community? Tell me.
I mean, it all started with Lulu Pencil.
Yeah, it all started with Lulu Pencil. A member of our congregation curated a special episode of Lulu Pencil and showed us her legacy of being an underdog, fighting, especially with her feud with Chris Brooks. And it was the Christmas match, Kayla, with her versus Antonia Honda?
Oh, it's been so many at this point.
There's been so many, but it was that special match with her and Antonio Honda. We just instantly fell in love with the entire ChocoPro. Mm-hmm. So after WrestleMania, around May, we decided to do a whole ChocoPro month, and it extended on because everyone just had such a great time. It was a new, fresh thing to watch, like ChocoPro is so different compared to the Western side of wrestling. It's just pure entertainment, it's pure fun, it's gags, it's bits, it's foxes everywhere, it's over the top in the best way, on the 14th floor, high risk.
Yes, very high risk, but not as risky as getting your stream equipment together. But look who finally made it.
Hey. Hello.
Hi, May. Hi,
I'm
Akki.
trying to find you guys. I can't really hear you right now.
You can't hear us?
Can I you? No.
We can hear you. Not a problem. Hi.
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Well, then we cheer again. Yeah. Yay. It's good to have you both. Thank you very much. Middle of the night for you guys on top of that.
Yes, this has been a very eventful day for the Best Bros. And I cannot believe she just made that smile. This is a lie. I'm not joking. She was dead on that chair 10 minutes ago. I'm not joking. This is incredible.
I'm here with no coffee, just pure excitement. So we're so happy to see you guys.
Give me 1 second.
This
is 2 in the morning.
Of coffee.
We have coffee. I have coffee. Everyone has coffee.
I have coffee too.
We run away from streams on a regular basis. This is like our thing. This is what we do. Okay.
I have my sparkling water, which I know Akki's a fan of.
I am a fan of sparkling water.
On ice. I don't have it on ice, but I know that you got me drinking it on ice.
Yes, like ice makes it drinkable.
Yeah.
Like it's like drinking horrible water for no reason at all. If you add ice,
too warm with the bubbles and everything, it's a no-go.
Yeah, he's the whole reason I drink it on ice now.
If you really want to go with bubbles, you gotta go with Asahi. Beer.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
there's a reason to it.
Okay, tell us.
I'm a drunk. There's a reason to it. It's been a good day for Best Bros. Mecha, what time do you wake up today?
What time do I?
Yes, you.
What? 30 minutes ago.
No, not now. Morning.
Morning.
She's not lying. And that's a lie. She woke up 12 minutes ago. I woke her up. We actually have a sleeping bag in each.
Okay.
Oh God.
This is very cute. I have pictures. I'll show you sometime.
Please do.
She was in a sleeping bag, dead, like 12 minutes ago.
Thankfully, you're there to keep an eye on her.
Yeah. And look how lovely she looks. All of a sudden.
Absolutely.
Always.
Look, folks, I'm not going to lie. The people who are joining us live here, and thank you very much for being here. They're excited. They're spamming the chat with all sorts of wonderful cheers for everyone.
And I see a lot of apples.
A lot of apples. Yes, I've seen some chocolate. I've seen a bit of chocolate, but I'm really glad that we're able to come together. The Church of Joshi, Akki, and May.
Thank you, guys. Like I legit mean it. Thank you very much. Church of Joshi has been like, how would I say that? You guys have been like one of the most, how would I say, like consistently putting ChocoPro at a place where I hope it should be. Like, is that like correct sound?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm making sense in like language wise. Because
no. Yeah.
Like you guys have done watching parties like we love doing watching parties because it shows us like different things. But you guys went through Lulu, then you guys did May, Chie, mine, and and like you guys presented in a way that I feel very good about when I see ChocoPro. Like that's how we do it. That's how we want to be seen. That's our effort to be look like. That's what we put in the work. And the way you guys take it, especially like Church of Joshi, really like brings that out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we were just talking about how we found you guys, and we did all of our streams, and we did a 2-month-long ChocoPro celebration. But I think probably the thing that Alex and I are the most proud of, that because we've only been streaming, we've only been running this show for a little over a year. I don't think it's like a year and a couple of months. We took those 2 months and raised money for that sponsorship. And that wasn't us. That was our whole community. That was our whole congregation. We raised the money and we applied for that sponsorship. And having our logo on that banner for those 2 months was like the coolest thing that we've ever done. And we definitely want to do it again. Of course, we're still sponsoring, but like seeing our logo and being introduced by you guys, and because you guys have changed our lives. Like we started Joshi in quarantine. We started Church of Joshi in quarantine, and it was just because we wanted to learn about it. We don't know anything. Our community are the experts and they teach us. We just provide the content. And it's a lot of like, we're watching stuff for the first time. But when we found you guys, it changed everything for us. Our whole community.
Look at that reaction.
Are so into
not at all humble apple.
No, and that's what we love about her.
That's what we love the most about her. Yeah, but like it like we said, like our congregation knows all about y'all. So when we first saw you guys, we were first introduced with our Lulu Pencil episode, and then we're like, what is this promotion? What is this? We want more.
Yes. Especially if you watch Lulu first.
Like, it was like Antonio Honda, like it was just those two, and we instantly fell in love. But also like we can tell with every show that you put on, you just always have so much fun. Like fun is just the number one thing for you guys. And you guys just have different bits and different things. And the congregation or our whole entire audience that just loves Joshi just picks it up instantly, with Gong the Fox and being on the 14th floor. And it's just amazing. So definitely thank you guys.
You guys would not believe how long we actually run that thing. Because it wasn't like in the beginning of it was just the 14th floor. Nobody actually fell from it for like a long time. We kept that thing going like as legit for a very long time, for like seasons and seasons.
We're still doing it.
People were like scared.
Even when it's outside.
And they were like, it's the 15th floor.
Even when it's outside, we created that like it's got this like floating road around it, but it's still the 14th floor. Yeah. So we maintain that to this day.
I'm still scared to go up there. Yeah, sometimes.
I'm scary.
Little comment here that popped in from Brian Crosby in the chat. It says, don't forget how Chris Brooks dubbed May a goblin, and the ChocoPro community went wild reading May. Is that a nice little memory?
Let's two things. First of all, Chris is how would I say that? A very, very sour bastard. So let's put that there. And number two, like, come on. Like, how can you call this lovely thing a goblin? Look at that. Like, how can anybody be more cute?
She's the best
evil.
Goblin of all time.
Yes, she is evil. Like that's a thing. Like, she's my bro. You're my best friend. That's all right. But still, don't you dare call her goblin. Goblin is a different thing. Yes.
Don't call her a goblin.
You know what? Like a little bit of here and there, it's okay.
One thing we can call one thing we can call May. I'm so excited. Like I'm glad to be in the background of all of this, and you guys just enjoying the hell out of each other. I'm digging this tons. But we are taking advantage of the fact that the PWI Women's 150 was released this week to sort of make this happen, right? And true. May is on the list. She was up there at number. Yes, congratulations. Up there at number 68.
Okay. Thank you. Was it just me who was surprised that she was above Amy Sakura? Was it just me? I was surprised. For some reason, I was surprised. I see a very flying slaps coming May's way. Sammy Sakura next time.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's no coincidence that we released the list while Emmy is in North America, right?
Smart move.
So
Smart move.
there
Very
we
smart.
go. We're always thinking. But May, how do you feel about being number 68 on the list?
Yeah, I cannot believe it.
Yes.
Yeah.
This year has been crazy. PWI first, like normal list, and then now the woman one.
Mm. So
Yeah.
before, maybe I cannot get that ranking.
Yeah, last year I remember you
Yeah.
tweeting, "Why am I not in this?"
Mhm.
I literally remember it because
And-
I'm the one you rented on the fact that you were not on that list.
And this year, here you are at number 68. And what's great, also on top of that, is that there's a high about over a fifth of the list is made up of Joshi wrestlers, right? And that's really exciting. Talking with Kevin, the editor-in-chief of PWI, we think that this is the highest ratio ever of Joshi wrestlers on the women's list. I'd like maybe to start. Let's start with Alex. You know, why do you think? Do you feel that this is a representation of Joshi being on the rise in North
5の中で
America?
1割が5の1割5の1割が女子レスラーだったから今の中で一番多かったんですよ。だからまだなんか今までどうして入らなかったんだろうって感じになってる。By the way, I feel so cool the fact that I can speak Japanese. Maybe
Yes,
I'm
you are
drunk,
very
that's
cool,
why I'm
yes, yes.
saying true things right now that I shouldn't. But I really feel awesome that I can talk to her right now.
And we have no idea. I'm very self-conscious. I think you keep talking about my glasses. I don't know, Alex. What do you think about that?
I think the rise of Joshi wrestling is amazing, you know, and I think a lot of that does have to contribute with a little bit of portions like the major companies, like when Asuka came through and Io Shirai. There were a lot of people that were excited when they came into the company, and a lot of people were like, well, who are these people? Like, why should I be excited? And with AEW bringing in more Joshi wrestling, but I think a lot of it does have to do with pandemic. A lot of people during the pandemic went back and they watched wrestling that they just weren't familiar with, and that's how we got into Joshi ourselves. We watched Manami Toyota versus Akira Hokuto, and we're like, who are these women? Like,
That's not where you should start. You shouldn't like.
I
Same
know.
thing. Don't start with Little Pencil in ChocoPro, and don't start with Manami Toyota and Joshi Wrestling.
I
You're
know,
starting
it's
way too high.
Yeah.
way too high, but that's
Yeah.
we wanted to learn. We wanted to learn, and I think that I remember on Twitter a lot of people were like suggesting different wrestling of like, if you haven't watched all of Aja Kong's matches, like go back and watch it and this and that, because people had the time to learn and pick it up, and especially like with ChocoPro and Stardom and all these other companies all over there, and y'all were keeping on with shows, like that was definitely something to watch, you know? So a lot of people just wanted to sink deeper into wrestling, and the rise of women's wrestling getting more respect over here on the Western side. And meanwhile, when we go back and we watch older Joshi, to see people like Bull Nakano and Aja Kong in a steel cage match, like whipping each other with chains, it's like, this was happening in the 90s and 80s all the way over there. Like, why aren't we keeping up? You know? So I think it just has to do with a lot of people just wanting to have more women's wrestling.
Kayla, what do you think?
They were the pandemic like MVPs, because we started in the pandemic. We started the show because we were in quarantine, and because Alex and I have been best friends for 3 or 4 years now.
5 years, yeah.
God, yeah, no, so long. And it was just out of, we wanted to learn, because we were supposed to go to the TJPW show in Orlando, and then everything got canceled.
The one that
Yeah.
We were like, okay, you know what? I just started Twitch. Let's watch Joshi. It's gonna be fun. And then all of the sudden, all of the AEW stuff, and I do feel very strongly. Of course, Joshi's always been there. Joshi wrestling has always been the best wrestling of all time ever, even when we didn't know about it. But I do think that AEW probably has the most. I think it was timing, but I think it was the people that they brought in. It wasn't these huge names in Japan. It was people that they saw talent in. It was people like Shida. It was people like Riho. It was,
Yuka.
people that maybe are unknowns in America. Unfortunately, we don't think that that should be the case. But I remember going to that first Double or Nothing, and Sheeta came out, and I was like, sign me up. I'm ready. Let's watch Joshi wrestling. And from there, we made it a priority, and we've been able to see it grow in America, but we want to see it go further. So being able to see Emmy and Lulu come to America has just been incredible. And I do think that AEW has a huge amount to kind of springboarding everybody, especially ChocoPro. I mean, you guys aren't sponsored.
That makes sense. Like, how should I put it? AEW, but like the specifically good thing about that is that they presented Joshi wrestling as Joshi wrestling is.
Yes.
Instead of like, how would I say that? Like, instead of making Dragon Ball Evolution a live version and everybody just going, what the hell is this? They just brought a product onto their platform and it's like, okay, this is also a thing.
Io and Asuka and Kairi were never necessarily pushed as Joshi wrestlers. They were just on the roster. They were talked about Joshi.
Yeah, and that was more of a self-discovery with fans of like everyone hyping them up, and they were never presented as Joshi wrestlers, but people were aware of Joshi wrestling through them, and I think there was a little bit more exposure with that. But AEW definitely has the credit. I think that also has to do with a lot of some of the people that work behind the scenes did have experience in Japan, so they know what was happening over there.
The people who were running it, let's just say Kenny and the Bucks specifically, the who were responsible for the Japan side, they know Japan. Kenny lives here. He speaks perfect Japanese. But not even that. Like the whole show, it's not like AEW tried to do it. It was almost like the whole show was a presentation that this kind of wrestling also exists. All of the indie wrestling. If you have only grown up watching WWE, if you only watched wrestling on TV, you're not a live audience kind of guy or a gal, or like if it's a family, if I'm 8-year-old and I only know like on USA Network there's WWE and I love John Cena or I love Roman Reigns or like I love Brock Lesnar or somebody, it's almost like the whole the opening part of AEW was basically presenting a different kind of wrestling to all of the audience, and Joshi was one part of it. But because in my mind, even in between those different kind of wrestlings, like lucha and American independent, and then there was more of a Japanese style, and then there's Joshi. Let's just say at least 4. Even in those styles, Joshi stands out because you're not used to watching a woman being, how would I say that cool. You're not
reckless and badass.
Yeah.
Yes, like okay, this is me. I'm an athlete. I'm not just an athlete. I'm a professional athlete. This is what I do for a living. Sure. And I'm very, very good at it. And I'm going to show you that. And if you are good at it, like, if you are good enough, it cannot really be denied. You can hate it, but you really can't deny it. You can ignore it, but you can't deny it. The fact that it's good, it's incredible. The fact that Hikaru Shida or Ryo fast, or like Sakurai even after 25 years, Mizunami Ryo, like, the fact that they are incredible, you can't deny it. You cannot like it. That's your own option. But you can't deny the fact that they're incredible. And I think that was the fact that was established on that show.
They presented it as, here are these Japanese women's wrestlers. They're going to blow your head off of your body. And I think they made it, they spotlighted it in a really nice way. And it pulled interest to watch more, outside of that bubble. So I think once we broke outside of that bubble and we started watching you guys and Yuka and, people like Suri, it changed how we saw everything.
And especially with the tournament that just passed, that May was a part of, and and the fact that they had 2 sides of the bracket, and with the Joshi side, like there was a full introduction to so many amazing women, and to present each woman on that side like authentically as they could, and it was just their own production, own studio, like again because of pandemic stuff they had to be that way, but I think it was a good introduction to a lot of new people, because a lot of new people like caught on. They're like, wait,
Mhm.
I know May. May's a part of ChocoPro, and I've seen her here and this and that. And then they turn into ChocoPro, and now they're fans. It does give it a lot of credit for
It's the
AEW.
loveliest thing.
And since we're talking about AEW and May here, we have someone in the chat, Bobby Petito, who asked, May, who is your dream opponent in AEW?
My dream opponent? Definitely, I want to fight with Ty Conti.
You said that
I
before, too.
love Ty Conti.
Why exactly?
Why?
I want to listen.
Her smile is very cute.
I don't think that has anything to do with wrestling. By the way. I really don't think. Like if you say that to Ty Conti, I'm pretty sure she's gonna smile. But
They're
she won't
both
say it.
cute and
I think I've worked hard
terrifying.
enough for you to say anything other than my smile.
It's the swerve. It's the swerve. I like your smile, and then
It's
just
like
go in
every
with
time,
elbow.
like I really see like those. How would I say that? I mean Sakura. Everybody, if you don't know, and if you know her, ever get to know her personally, she's incredible at dissing you. Like she will diss you in a way that you can't deny. Like she just said, I want to wrestle Tay Conti. Tay Conti will be happy, right? And they say, why do you wrestle? Because she has a good smile. Nothing about her wrestling. Just puts her on the ground right there. No, I like her smile.
Yeah, first impression.
First impression. No second impression ever, by the way. We have seen 20 of her matches. No second impression. Like I like her smile. I would love to wrestle her. I want to see a better. I think May wants to show a better smile than her. That's all she's thinking about right now.
I think they're
Probably
very
much.
similar, as in they're both cute, but
Yeah,
they're
well,
absolutely
yeah,
terrifying at the same time.
Mhm.
No.
I've been scared of
Don't
I've
bite
been
her.
scared of May for like
Please
a year
don't bite her.
now.
Why?
Why? Do you want to bite her?
Bite her?
Don't agree to
See?
it. Say
Yeah.
no, and then really
Terrifying.
do it.
I don't see anything wrong with what she's saying.
Yeah,
I
she's
really
saying, I wanna
support
bite her.
it.
Do you want to bite her?
If I get the chance, I'll bite her.
No.
What?
No.
Yeah. Why?
She will.
Like you can bite her. Just don't say you want to bite her. You don't get caught even before doing it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, you sort of keep that for yourself. May, Akki, Joshi has often been considered like a specific style of wrestling here in North America, right? But
Yes.
watching Joshi, right, it seems that like it's a blend of styles, right?
Of course.
Well, would you how would you define Joshi wrestling, right, in terms of a style?
なんか向こう的に聞くと女子プロレスが一つスタイルに見えるじゃん。
うん、ブランドっぽい。
けどちゃんと女子プロレスを見始めちゃうと、なんか色がいっぱいあるじゃん。
いや
それどうやって説明するの？
説明する
できなかったら私やるよ。
お
They're
ー
talking about my glasses again. See, that's what they're doing there.
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda.
Try.
Try?
Yeah, go ahead.
But like a school.
Like a school.
Yeah.
In what sense? Like very many clubs?
Maybe clubs or like a inter high school
Mm.
or just enjoy high school
Okay.
or yeah, Euro.
Oh yes. I'm gonna translate that English into English.
Thank you very much, my bro.
So like she's basically saying it. You can imagine like the way you can imagine Joshi wrestling in all of, because it does have a lot of color. Every promotion has their own unique, like very almost as different as American and lucha wrestling. That different of attitude, the way they go about.
Mhm.
Like you can really find it out if you watch, let's just say Seedling or Sendai Girls, and then you watch Tokyo Joshi. Those are very different things.
Sure.
She's basically saying, imagine it being a high school. And what she means by it is like some people are in there to really be a professional athlete. They are very focused on their game. Like just like May used to play basketball. I don't know why. You can imagine, but focus. That's what I was saying.
Basketball player.
I know you're good at dribbling. You still run fast. I know. Very, very awesome legs, by the way. Incredibly athletic. So I'm saying, so like she used to do basketball. So her focus mainly was like being a player. There are some students in high school who are just there to enjoy. They want to drink, have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and just enjoy. right? There are some people who really want to go to engineering. They are very focused on working. They are very focused on studying. Like those groups are the same thing. They're high school students. They are in the same class. They're doing the same thing, but they have very different things that they focus on. And that's is what I think she was trying to say when she said it's like a high school.
Right.
Then,
Right. How good,
well, there you go.
How good was that, by the way? From
That
like
was
3 words.
Yeah, that was. I was going to say that was a very astute translation. Alex, Kayla, what do you? How do you feel about like this? Is Joshi an appropriate like blanket term, or should we be a little more granular?
I think it's its own style. I mean, I think it comes down to the fact that we see a lot of people like, I mean, even Lee Moriarty, who loves Joshi wrestling, they watch these women and they mimic their style. So I do think that it can be considered a style of wrestling, because when somebody watches a Joshi match, or certain moves and certain ways that people carry themselves in the ring, I think it can reflect as it being its own style. But I do think that wrestling all around like is such a melting pot at this point. It's kind of hard to segment it, because people are pulling from luchador wrestling, people are pulling from British strong style, people are pulling from Joshi. And I think that everything's such a mixed bag now. It is kind of hard to segment it, but I feel like, especially Lucha and Joshi, when you watch those matches and you see people that aren't from Japan doing those moves, you can see where the inspiration comes from.
Like,
yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Actually,
Akki.
like very cleanly, it might actually be rude to say this, but when like I don't know Joshi wrestling a lot. It might seem like a lot. I know a lot about them. But I actually don't know much other than like the people who are connected to Got the Move, because I used to wrestle for Got the Move. I used to wrestle like a lot of independents, but I also wrestled Got the Move. But then it became a ChocoPro, and then I primarily wrestle ChocoPro now. Simply love it. But and ChocoPro is not really a Joshi wrestling. It's like both of the play are like it's very free. It's not a Joshi wrestling. It's not a simple wrestling. It's not a mixed one. It's not like WWE where there's like just women are there to kind of fill a spot. Or AEW, no matter how good we want to say it, still plays that role. It's just like I can do a main event, May can do a main event, Che can do a main event, Masatanashi can do a main event, Shiryu can do it, or we can do it together as a mix. It really doesn't matter. We're just individual players that wrestle in a company. But the biggest difference in my eyes between American wrestling, Joshi basically means female. So I say in my head, for some reason, it's like Joshi wrestling, American Joshi wrestling, and Japanese Joshi wrestling, like female wrestling, let's just say. The biggest difference was Joshi wrestling, like Japanese Joshi wrestling, doesn't wrestle a male wrestling style. They don't wrestle like guys. That's what makes it a Joshi wrestling.
Interesting.
They don't wrestle like guys. They don't do guys like they can do they can do German suplex. They don't need to do a German suplex like a 6'8" guy. They do it how would a very fast, very strong, very athletic 5 feet 2 inches girl would do it. That's how they want to do it. They wrestle like they can. They are flexible, so they do moves that are very flexible. They're very fast, so they wrestle like they can because they're fast. And because they're light, they can throw each other more. So you see a lot more dynamic style. You see a lot more speed. You see a lot more throws. You don't see like super heavy blow, just one, and then you have to wait for 10 seconds for the other blow to come because you're still feeling it. You don't see that because they're not throwing bombs.
Right.
They're throwing needles and very fast. But there's some, like Aja Kong can show up and wrestle a style that nobody in the world wrestles. It's not like she's trying to wrestle like a guy or a girl. No, she's just wrestling like Aja Kong. And because American wrestling, forever, the girl who's the coolest is the one who can do the guy's moves the best.
Yeah.
And to this day, like, I'm not joking. I can't stand intergender. Like they say it intergender. I can't even stand that word, to be honest. Mixed wrestling in Europe, I can't stand it. Because it's basically girls trying to wrestle like guys with guys and being thrown around. I can kick your head off. I don't have to. It's not fun.
Okay.
I can have an incredible match because let's just say I'm wrestling Mei Suruga. I want to wrestle a match that only Baliyan Akki can wrestle with Mei Suruga.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay.
If any guy, like any strong person, forget about a guy. Let's say Aja Kong wrestles Mei Suruga and I wrestle Mei Suruga. Not too much different, right? Power-wise.
Yeah.
The power difference. I don't want to wrestle like her. That I'm like a guy. I want to wrestle like my wrestling versus her wrestling. The way we can like mix it together. And because Japanese wrestling never did that, that's why Joshi wrestling was a thing. They didn't wrestle like guys. They didn't wrestle like New Japan or Old Japan or anything like that.
Yeah.
They were their own thing. They ran Tokyo Dome because of it. Because people wanted to see something different and they had something different. In Japan or in America, they never had anything different. And they could never make that something as big as that. I'm not even saying it's fault of the people. Nobody ever gave them, or maybe like, it's just never came together in that sense. It's such a different thing. And to me, that's the style of Joshi. That the whole thing together is the style of Joshi. They wrestle like female wrestlers. They don't wrestle like guys wrestlers. And that's Joshi. Joshi means female. So just like legit that style. And that's where Mesuruga is best at it, to be honest. It really embodies that. Like, okay, doing moves, anybody can do literally any move. You just choose what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But to be fluent in the sport that we do, which is professional wrestling, one of the best, really.
Great bridge.
Yep. Best
Incredible
bridge.
No,
Incredible bridge.
You should see her when she gets like a Boston crab. People try to break her spine because you can kind of break her spine because she's flexible. People just go. I'm like, nah, stop it. Come on. Like, there'd be no best bros without her. Come on, don't hurt her.
I think you could also argue that ChocoPro is its own style because it's such a different environment. So
It is.
You have to adapt that there's no ring and that you're using a sink and that you're using a window. And so I think that, you know, it's hard to, it's not black or white anymore, but I love that explanation. You want to wrestle how you want to wrestle, not how everybody else is wrestling. But it does come down to being flexible, being fast, being absolutely tiny. But that just means that they could be daredevils.
You know, one thing that's great as we're talking, you know, we got a very, very active live chat, and that's fantastic, right? Look, we even got this comment here. Mei Suruga versus Jade Cargill when?
Wow.
May. When is this happening?
Mei-chan, how many seconds will you die in? Tell me how many seconds? You will run, bump into her abs, and then just die right there.
We all would.
I'm not sure the muscle is my head
Same size, probably, yes.
But it's fantastic because look, you know, we started this live stream about around noon, you know, and we were talking, a bunch of us, you know, and when we started you guys up, we got like 5 times the people popping in. No, but look, honestly, like the Joshi fan base, right, is very, very passionate and alive. And Alex, Kayla, like you guys.
Can I just say something?
Oh,
like,
sure.
You're saying very good things. The fact that I am always very naturally included when you say Joshi is incredible to me.
Well,
we have been talking about like
we did an episode on you.
Yeah, we did do an episode on you.
But the fact that like, oh, Joshi wrestling, he's a Joshi, like you guys almost say it to the point that I'm a Joshi wrestler. Like like he's literally introducing right now, saying that as soon as like Joshi wrestling fan following and people showed up, I'm like, no. Look at that. I have
it's a great point though, because we see it so differently. We see it as a whole like bubble of wrestling.
I think ChocoPro changed that.
I mean, we think of Chris Brooks as we did I mean, Antonio Honda. Like we think of, like we think of that whole, oh my God.
Cutest thing.
That's my boyfriend.
Adorable. The only thing that can match him ever in adorableness is someday, if I ever had a baby, that would be the thing that would match
him dressed as the angel. Oh my God, he's the greatest.
Yeah, I run from him.
Well, okay, but Kayla, I think you were on to something, you know, in regards to, because look, you know, honestly, the first time that May and Akki we spoke, we brought Akki on. Akki said, "I'll act as a translator for bits," and then for me, it's just he's naturally included in this conversation because because that's how it goes. But you were making a point, right? As in regards to Akki and Chris Brooks being a part of this environment, we see it differently, right?
Oh yeah, I definitely think so, Alex. I mean, it was a natural progression when we pick our topics. We have men on the list. It's very few, but we definitely see them as like, we see Joshi women, like Joshi wrestling as women's wrestling, but I don't know what it is, and I think just through the fans' eyes, we see them as part of it because you're part of these promotions and you're part of ChocoPro, and I think ChocoPro has everything to do with it.
But also, it's the way that you talk about Joshi wrestling, where you're just standing firm of like, it isn't just Joshi wrestling; it's just wrestling because we just want to treat the women like they are wrestlers instead of just saying there's women's wrestling and then there's just wrestling, where certain conversations where we talk about like May Suruga, if someone in the chat's like, oh, May Suruga has the best women's bridge ever, it's like, no, she has the best bridge, that's it, because she's wrestling. And that and I think with you carrying on the support and lifting these other women up, you are by association, by fault, like, a part of Joshi wrestling because right? You just like help them up. And I think that go ahead.
It does seem like it might seem like I'm not joking. It might seem like it, which is like it's the core of the point why ChocoPro is what it is. Almost like when the thing that made me fall in love with ChocoPro and the thing really separates it from Gotham Move. Gotham Move is a Joshi promotion. It's very clearly a Joshi promotion, and guys wrestle in it. Same thing, like exactly the same thing as in like AW is very clearly a guys promotion where girls wrestle. No matter how you look at it, same as WWE. There's 8 matches, 1 is Joshi. Well, it's a guys show, girls are wrestling. But when ChocoPro became a thing, Ami Sakura, like, she made me the first match with Minoru Suzuki, and then May showed up, but we still were just like, it became such a natural thing for us to just be wrestlers instead of, how would I say that? Instead of being like Joshi wrestlers and like guys wrestlers on like veterans or youngs or whatever. It was such a time because, and I think not just ChocoPro, the time it was built in was a big thing as well. Because and it was a really big if wrestling ever continues, it might not. It was actually a question in March 28 of 2020. We might not have wrestling. Right?
Right.
At that point, nothing really matters. We just want to put a product that puts smiles on people. That's all we want. There's still things happening. Not everything is ending, something is starting. That's all Ami Sakura wanted. And she made that, and she put that forward. And I think it became naturally because the people who are here are not just me. Like, I think Masa Takanashi is a way big contributor than me. I think at least 10 times. At least 10 times. Chon Shiryu, Shin Nohagane, Antonio Honda, before that, Transam Hiroshi, or like all the people who have wrestled in Gotham, they have built that for me to stand on. I just showed up. Literally, like it might seem humble me saying it, but it really is true. That's why Best Bros always say the name of Yakin Thunders. What we do right now, and it seemed like, oh, no, they've been doing it for 10 years, like nothing, with no recognition, no prize for it, being ridiculed for it, to be honest. Like, I really don't, like, how should I say this? If there's a day where Joshi wrestling, when we say Joshi wrestling, isn't to defend, is to describe a style. Like we say lucha. We don't defend lucha. We just say it because it's a style. Lucha wrestling. Same thing with British wrestling. Same thing with chain wrestling. Same thing with like Japanese style. We say Japanese style, right? Very easy. Purosu style. Purosu is how you say pro wrestling in Japanese. But like if Joshi wrestling comes to a point where we are trying to describe a style of wrestling, that quickness, that pace, that tempo, that how do I say that using your flexibility, not only just your power. When we start describing that, we wouldn't have this conversation. It would just be Akki describing a style of wrestling instead of defending a very like a plethora of wrestlers.
Right.
I'm just like to me in my head, that's what I'm doing, and it's how I say that. It's really hard to convey with language, almost, because it's more about how I feel right now. Like it's hard.
No, I think I get what you're saying. It's more like you really want it to be. You'd really like for it to be discussed as, like you said, a style, as opposed to like this catch-all kind of umbrella term.
No. It's like it's not about females,
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that the fact that Mei Suruga is a female is just a fact. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
Same thing with Chris. He's a friend of mine. I don't really want to say this. I really don't. Really don't. It pisses me off, but we work together, so I have to say it, or we get fired again from DT. So I'm just saying it. And May is a friend of mine. He's a tall dude. She's a smart girl.
Yeah.
That's all.
She said, "Yep."
She agrees. Yes, he's tall. I'm yep, absolutely.
I think that's how we see it.
Okay. Yeah.
And
yes.
I think that's how
I can tell.
when we run our
Yeah.
show. I think
I can
that's how
tell.
we see it. And I think ChocoPro taught us that.
Please give me a second, because she's gonna kick me afterwards. I have to just give me.
Well,
a
it's
second.
okay.
It's really sure. Okay. She's just being nice right now.
But yeah,
How much did you got, by the way? This conversation.
Yeah.
How much did you got?
80%.
Please.
yes.
Are you teaching
Please.
her? Are you teaching her English?
No, we just talk now.
I love that.
Now
Good.
if
And she
has
sings a
particular
lot.
Thing, if she has a particular thing like how do you say that or what does that mean, I'm like, this is what it means.
That's
This is how
awesome.
you use it, because it's like the way you learn English and the way you speak is completely different. Every language, the subject English and the language English is very different. Same with Japanese, actually. That's why I couldn't
And she
speak Japanese
sings
before.
entrance songs, which is like my favorite thing ever. Cult of Personality was. You did a great job.
Wait, when did she do Cult of Personality? I missed
Oh
it.
my gosh.
Shoot us right now. I told you.
Just cut the rest of the questions. We're gonna sing Cult of Personality. This is all we came here
Huge
for.
performance. Let's close it out.
Well, we do have to start wrapping things up here,
Yes.
and I, this was a great talk amongst everyone, but I think we'd be missing the mark if we didn't end this with some jankin to finish it off, right?
You
Oh,
sure?
really? I am the reigning champion from Church of Joshi. I am the
Okay.
current
So about
Jankin
it-
champion.
Are you
gotta
okay,
know we
Kayla?
are pros.
Yeah,
Like,
are
we
you
guys
ready
should
to
know.
put? Kayla? Are you ready to put your title on the line right now?
You have
Yeah, I'll do it.
Oh my
Listen, if I
goodness.
lose, I lose with honor.
Where is
I
it?
listen
Tell
to
me.
the
I'll
people
take a
that
flight
taught me
tomorrow.
about Jankin.
All right, so I think we could do this as a quick tournament style. How about we put in on brackets? We put Alex versus May on one side,
Ooh.
Kayla versus Akki on the other. How about that? Okay,
Wow,
and then
that's cool.
And then
okay.
you take the seed. Oh, how much like Amy Sakura can you be?
He has
Go
to
back.
cover the board. The
Go
board
back and
with
watch the
everything.
28
Yeah, go
episode
get the
show.
board.
There's 28 people on that show.
Yeah.
And the person who get to the finals wrestles like does the with Amy Sakura, loses, and then she takes the chocolate.
Yeah.
How dare! Like, come on, the tyranny,
That's great.
All
the
right.
absolute tyranny.
I have one question. What
Yes.
is it that y'all say when it's shushe boo? What is it?
Oh.
Yes. What are the?
Yeah.
Good question.
Saisho
Saisho.
Saisho.
wa
Wa?
W
Okay.
Wa.
Okay.
Wa. Shut. Okay. Wa.
Gu.
Okay.
You.
Saisho means first. Wa means like just is or am, and gu. So it's like first come rock. Rock means
Oh, okay.
this means punch. This is gu.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Saisho means first.
So,
So first comes rock. You're basically saying that. Saisho wa gu. Janken.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna get it, but I wanted to know.
Special, raw, and good.
Yeah.
So okay, so we'll give it a shot. We'll start with Alex and May. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll
You
throw.
go, May.
I'll let you guys.
Don't
I
you dare
really
lose.
wanna watch.
Don't you
First
dare lose.
first round of the tournament. We're already in the quarterfinals. Here we go.
Still behind. You can see. Oh, yes.
Sai
Hold on.
Let's rerun that one. Let's rerun it. We'll rerun it.
Let's see ChocoPro. Both goes fist first with a sound effect of your choice.
Okay, here we go. Oh.
Oh!
You goddamn. Come on.
Hit the bricks, May. Got kicked out in the first round.
How can you lose in the first
Let's
round?
move on.
Paper.
Very weird choice, but hey, this is where we're at. Alex wins the first round here. Let's move on to Kayla and Akki. Congratulations,
I'm not gonna
Alex.
try and say it, so you
You
lead.
better be ready.
All right.
Saisho good. Janken.
Oh!
Oh,
Got a tie here.
Tie.
Right.
I'm
Keep
nervous.
it loose.
I
Warm up.
I don't want to lose. I really don't want to lose. Saisho good. Janken. Let's go. Let's go home. God damn it. No need. Yes.
They're
Cut
hitting
this
the
right
sleeping
now.
bag.
I'm the champ for a
Come on.
reason.
For sure.
Come on.
The ChocoPro pros have been knocked out of the Janken tournament here.
We're drunk. We have excuse.
No chocolate for you.
We are drunk. We've been drinking
All
for
right,
3.5 hours straight.
Kayla and Alex, it's up to you now at this point. It's between
right.
the both of you.
I'm
This is
scared.
exciting stuff. Kayla
Okay.
defending her title. Alex coming for it.
Okay.
Take it away.
Ooh.
It's so good, by the way.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. You
Just
call
do
it.
the American.
Somebody else
It's
call
all
it.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we'll do
let's just
rock, paper-
scissors, shoot.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Paper.
There's a
Paper on
delay
this
too.
I see it.
There's a delay too. So I'll
There's like a
wait for a
2-second
second.
delay.
Yeah,
There's
I'll
one
wait for a
something.
second because she's behind me, so I'll hold mine. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, Kayla! Congratulations, you
Defending.
hold on to your title.
I would suck more. I'm happy you beat me and won the championship.
I
I'm
retain.
happy about that.
I retain.
She's
You heard it
the
here first.
she's the Church of Joshi Jenkins champion for a
You heard it
reason.
here
From
first.
behind, by the way. You should.
Who
Yes,
knows? Maybe down the line we'll get another tournament style here
Oh, please do.
against the four of you and try to watch this.
Well,
away.
probably still do something like that sometime. We can't really do it online because it's too hard to like manage. But if we can find a way, we would definitely do it.
When you guys come for ChocoPro USA, we'll do it in person. We'll have a live
We'll do a live
tournament.
They'd be like hundreds of people doing it at the same time. It'd be chaos. It'd be chaos.
Fingers
But
crossed, ChocoPro USA becomes a thing
Yes.
eventually. We
Yeah.
would love to see you guys. Otherwise, we're coming to Japan hopefully
Oh,
within the
please
next
do.
couple of years.
Yeah,
Really
we would love to. Or if anything,
Have you
we'll
been here
raise money
before, by the way?
again. No, never been
like
here.
all three of you, never?
No,
Never had the
Oh, come
never
on.
had
I
the
would
honor.
love to.
Beautiful
Yeah.
country.
That's like a 2023 goal for us.
Like, okay, you seen animes, right?
Yes.
A little
course.
bit.
And you
yeah.
see those neon lights and those buildings and that beautiful scenery, there's clouds above and little bit of raining, kind of there's no rainbow, but still rainbow colors, right? You've seen those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fades in comparison.
Oh,
Every day.
I love
Every
that.
day. Why do
That's
you think
awesome.
I'm here? It's like,
Maybe we'll just come
Every
over
day.
there and never leave.
That I think that's ultimately the danger is that you go and you stay, you just never want to go
stay.
back. That's
you fall in
absolutely
love.
true.
You really do.
I just want May to take me a good place to eat.
Of course.
And snacks.
Please
And
don't talk
snacks.
about food.
Yeah, we want all the food and snacks.
2 kg pasta.
And then we'll also stay out and drink some beer as well, so we can catch
yes.
up.
Everybody.
So every school.
Everybody. It's harder for me to buy water here than it is to buy beer.
Go figure.
I'm not joking. Everybody who I know drinks at least 4 times more in Japan than they do in their backcountry. No joke. Day drinking here is like me taking a walk. Like, what do you think we do? ChocoPro ends at 11:30. The whole day is still to go. We are done with our job. We drink from 11:30 till like whatever time we go home and just pass out. Like today, okay, you guys might find it weird, but both of us today woke up at 5 in the morning. At 9 we had ChocoPro. Then at 12:30 she had one show. At 6 I had one show. Both of us got here at 9 p.m. That's like already 14 hours. At 10:30 we started drinking, and now it's 3. And now we're doing a live stream with you guys.
You guys,
That's Japan.
That's so.
Thank you.
Thank you
day.
so much. And we know you guys work incredibly hard, and even without knowing your entire schedule, I'm very, very fortunate that you guys.
That's a usual day.
You deserve the
I'm
drink.
not like
That's
trying
every
to say,
day,
like,
bro.
That's how you roll in Japan. That's what
But
I'm saying. People drink. I should go to sleep, but no.
I really, really appreciate you guys staying up so late, and May waking up 20 minutes beforehand to join us. Thank you very much, and continued success for ChocoPro. And I really appreciate you both for coming out and joining us on this weekend that we're putting together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Very nice to meet you again. Very nice to talk to you. But also, I'm incredibly happy to finally meet Kayla and Alex and the Church of Joshi.
Yeah.
We have had. I almost feel like I know you guys for a weird reason. That's why I'm talking so friendly from the first second I see you guys. Like, isn't it like I found it weird because like it's almost like we know quite a lot about each other. This is the first time for us to meet, to be honest. But I was very happy. I'm really, really happy. If we ever got a chance to like meet you guys ever again, I would definitely love it.
Anytime.
The feeling is absolutely mutual, and honestly, I think from the bottom of our hearts and all of our like community, we can't thank you enough for continuing with ChocoPro. I think I could speak for everyone where like all of your shows has helped us so much through all of the ups and downs of everything that's been happening in the world, and with your joy, and to see you guys just have so much fun with each other, like it just makes us so happy. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for what you do with ChocoPro. Truly, thank you.
Fight with me, man. They want to see joy.
Yeah.
Like, stop punching me or something,
or continue.
He wants to slap me after that. It's totally fine. Don't even worry about it. It's a love tap.
I really want to say, and I really want to say thank you to Alex and Kayla for joining us today to talk about Joshi and women's wrestling from Japan. How about that too? But I really, really appreciate it, and I'm glad we were able to put all of this together because you guys are a force in the community, and just glad that we were able to get us all here together to just talk about something that everyone really enjoys.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
And just in case we have people popping in, is like, what is this Church of Joshi stuff? Do you want to drop some plugs before we go?
I want to hear. What is it?
Yeah.
Well, Church of Joshi is every Sunday over at twitch.tv/KaylaVision at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Central. And every single week, we pick an individual Joshi wrestler that we just want to learn more about. We are not experts. We don't claim to be experts. So we are all learning together with the congregation. Joshi,
I love the
bless.
fact that you did namaste at the end of it. Just peace. The universal symbol of peace. Let's all come together or something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we
I have to
do.
say
We
yoga.
have a great community. We're very
I'm really happy to hear
fortunate to
that.
have a fantastic community. A lot of people that go into the ChocoPro chats and support ChocoPro support us as well, and we're very, very thankful for that. So
Well, thank you, and we're very thankful that you guys came out to celebrate. It just felt appropriate. It felt appropriate to have you all here. Thank you, May. Thank you, Akki.
Number 68 on that
Number
PWI
68.
150. Thank you very much. The Big Apple, the superstar.
Next year, more.
Next year, maybe number
Yeah.
3, right?
Number 3. Oh my gosh, yeah, I hope so.
But number
you
one in
very much.
all our hearts.
Number one in all our hearts. So
absolutely.
thank you very much, and thank you, Alex. Thank you, Kayla, for being here. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. A good night for our friends over in Japan.
Maybe.
Maybe. And thank you everyone for joining us as well. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Take care, guys. See you next time. Take care. Where is it? Here it is.
Thank you everyone for popping in here. And don't go away. Stay right here, because in a few minutes we are going to set up to play some Jackbox games with independent wrestling superstar Billie Starkz, and some of her friends are going to be joining us as well. So that's going to be exciting. And even after the live stream is done, our celebration continues. We still got so much stuff, such great content coming out on right here on youtube.com/bell2bells for the rest of the day. Later on at 8 p.m. tonight, we're going to be releasing an interview that I conducted with Yuka Sakazaki. So I hope you guys come back, subscribe to the channel to make sure that sticks around, that you get the notifications and that you do stick around, because that'll be awesome. Be talking with Mickie James as well. Ella J conducted an interview before Mickie James became the Knockouts champion last night, so we're going to have a big first talk with Mickie after the win, even though it was recorded before. Now, you guys know what I'm talking about. Got an interview with Ty Conti coming up as well. NWA World Women's Champion Camille. We got so much stuff on the way still. So much stuff on the way. But now, if you guys are ready, I think we are ready to start to have one Billie Starkz pop in here. If she are, yeah, she everything's. How you doing, here. Billie?
Good.
Oh, and we have Charlie Evans there.
We're together, so we're gonna do this together. Yes.
That's fantastic. Hello to you, to both of you.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to have you, just to hang out a little bit, play some games. Not that busy a weekend for you then, Charlie, is it?
Is it a busy weekend?
It is. Billie,
yeah.
excuse me.
3 matches.
Yes. 3 matches?
We have 3 matches. We wrestled last night. Yeah, we beat the crap out of each other.
Oh, okay.
The boys are all here now. They're getting set up there for the Fright Night show.
Oh, okay. So we're getting all of that together. So that's fantastic.
Yes, it's going to be a very exciting time tonight.
It is going to be exciting. So we've got Billie, who's there with you. Sorry, we've got Charlie with Billie. I'll get this right now. I'm confused.
We threw a curveball at you.
Exactly, but it's a good kind of curveball. That's pretty fun that you guys are both there. We have and Billie, maybe you'd like to introduce someone right here that's about to pop in. I think it's Sandra Moon who's with us.
Oh, I haven't seen her in forever. Sandra, put on the camera.
Turn on the camera, Sandra. Billie requests it. And your microphone too, just saying, kind of thing.
Some people are new at this stuff, so it takes them a minute.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm gonna message her and just make fun of her the entire time. She probably walked away from her phone and just
How did you meet Sandra?
So we got put in a matchup together for Paradigm during like the no tapings at Paradigm,
right?
When it was no fans, and we kind of got thrown in together, and she was just an amazing person, and we only have had one match together, and I would love to have more with her.
Well, there you go. So hopefully it'll happen. I mean, it's got to feel good, right? To have sort of wrestling back to normal, things opening up and Australians coming over. That's all got to be great, right?
Yay.
But it does feel good, right? It's a good vibe.
Yeah, it's like we're back to traveling and being able to see people again. Like, it was a long time where I felt like I couldn't see any of my friends because they're like trapped in their states and regulations and this and that. And then it was weird because we had no fans for a minute too.
Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, look at that. When you were saying that you were bringing your friends, you were bringing all sorts of friends.
Oh, we're bringing everybody.
And then we've got Sandra here, who I think is back in. Here we go. Let's pop her in. Hi, Sandra.
We were making fun of you for a minute.
Hi, nice to see you. Thank you so much for having me. I know, not knowing how to use the internet. But I got it.
So, are we expecting anyone else, Billie, or is this is this the oh, look at that, Sandra's got some extra friends too.
Yes, we have everybody. Oh, we need the bunny now, and the crew's complete.
So
you just want to be part of this.
Hey, what's up?
This is our ring announcer for the night.
Welcome to the stream.
He's leaving now.
Just wanted to make sure that that his presence was felt. But do we have anyone else joining us? Or
I can't. Roxy could not hop on. She had other stuff. So I think Lainey's supposed to be here.
I think
she broke. She broke her phone.
Yeah, well, Lainey told us that her phone broke.
I can't keep up with everybody.
That's all right. Well, I don't necessarily I don't necessarily expect you to keep track of everyone. I can barely keep track of myself. I don't expect anyone else to do it. So what we'll do is we'll fire up the game. We'll start this off, and in the little private chat that we have in the StreamYard setup here, I gave you guys the room code to join up. So on your phone, on your device, whatever, get over to jackbox.tv and enter that code.
Not me almost saying it out loud.
Not just yet. We will eventually, but not just yet. We'll try it. We'll lock ourselves in. So we'll be playing some Drawful Animate.
Oh no.
Yes, that's what we're going to start playing. And all right, and we're going through the first the little bit of a tutorial here to start with. There we go.
This is going to be joyful.
Yes, it is. It's going to be fantastic. So Billie's in. There we go. And we just got Sandra who popped in.
Perfect.
Yeah, because it's going to animate them. It's going to go from one thing to the next.
Exactly. That's the thing. So it's like Drawful, but you have 2 frames that you have to draw, basically. And so, yeah, it's kind of, it turns out to be kind of it's like a little GIF, depending on the prompts, right? It's going to be fantastic. I'm stoked to see this.
This seems fun.
It is terrible. Has everybody got their animation done?
I think Sandra's still working on hers.
Oh, okay. We'll give you a minute.
Reading the instructions.
I'm not. I feel like mine's going to be really cute. I hope we get to see everybody's.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, you just have to wait.
Billie's is actually very good. I went so extremely basic. I feel bad now.
Oh,
I went extremely
Mine
basic.
doesn't look like me at all.
Oh, wait, the game is... Oh, there we go. The game is starting. So I'm going to share the screen here because the game just decided to start without actually warning me.
Oh, no.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay, you have a prompt on your device to draw. I'm just getting my stuff together here. Bear with me, folks. There we go. Okay, now we all have access to the screen, and everyone has access to the room as well. So if you're hanging around and you like to join the audience, you can. You'll be able to vote. If you're in the audience right now, you'll be able to vote and add some points to the ones you really preferred. So we all have a prompt here. Oh my Lord.
This well, I'm excited.
Okay, what is mine?
I'm having a great time.
Okay, mine doesn't look anything like what it's meant to, but
it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
I don't know if I understood the prompt, but I made an attempt.
I feel like I'm having trouble understanding the way that it turns into the motion, so I'm like, sure, that'll do.
All right.
Everybody submitted theirs?
Not quite. I'm.
Oh, come
on.
Oh, Lord. I'm coming. I'm almost there.
He's going to outdo all of us because he took his time.
I know, mine is
it's
so bad.
I think mine's cute.
I like that you're confident.
I'm confident with mine.
This is usually the complaint I get when I do play these drawful things. Like, I'm always the last one. And,
gotta speed it up.
And they're usually not even that good. Yeah, like this. Then we'll go. All right, it's submitted. Okay. So let's take a look here. Here we go.
OMG, South, I really didn't understand how to get that. Man, we love my drawings. I thought it was supposed to just add them both to the already made this. All right, well, the first picture, guys. I think we got this.
What is cute? Look at the box.
I don't know. It's interesting.
I like the banana. The banana's pretty cute.
Oh, man.
I think Charlie still has to submit hers.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
What do you think? What is being animated
there we go.
here?
Oh, I didn't submit one, but that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
So now we get to.
Not only is she a wrestler, she's an artist.
Oh, that was. Oh, okay. I got suckered. Yeah, that was mine.
Oh, what am I doing? You can
So
be like, oh, this is my second choice.
F.
Wow. I think it's the banana that threw everyone off.
The banana, but the knife did not go in.
Which is good because we're going non-violent. That way we won't be kicked off of YouTube, which is a good idea.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
That's clear.
Yours is cute. I like the hair.
Yeah, y'all prompts are awesome. Your icons, they're great.
Matey. I like the R. I think it added on.
There's someone who still has to vote.
I submitted mine.
I did.
All right.
Full Pirates of the Caribbean.
Good job. That's some audience votes right there. Pirating wrestling.
Let's go.
There you go. Some points for Billie. Yeah, this was my prompt. AI matey. I'm like,
Really?
kind of harsh.
Come on, no points.
That is
Yeah,
the
you got
funniest,
5.
like,
You got 5. Sounds 5.
All right, what do we got?
Oh.
Oh.
She's a
I got
little
a good
evil
guess.
with those red eyes.
I feel like I know whose prompt this is.
Oh, there we go. Sen. There we
Am I okay?
go. Okay.
Oh my god.
We love
It's just pure joy. I don't know.
Thank you.
This is
Thank
something
you.
that needs to be remembered.
I don't see the seagull. Not gonna lie. I love this one. Wow.
Oh.
Do you see
Everyone
it?
gets
I
points.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
I didn't think that was the real one though.
That's what I tried to make you believe.
Exactly.
This is just very enjoying to see over and over
I know.
again. I feel like I am watching a wrestling game.
Suddenly it's up on Twitter, being taken down by New Japan. Okay.
I couldn't even begin to think about what this was.
The dancing in the dark got me, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, this is it.
It feels like gratitude.
Good job, Charlie.
Thank you. That's what I got from that.
Baker bonker.
Baker bonker. Look at that.
Oh yes. Damn.
I'm so focused now.
All right. Yes, me too. Okay. Everything got really silent.
Because we have to focus now. We have to.
Exactly.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, wait.
Oh my god, I just get worse and worse for real.
And you know they don't put an undo button purposefully, right?
I know. The disrespect.
I have to be so careful because like I kind of like scribble and then it's like, no, you can't undo this.
I usually have nails as well, so I can actually type, but right now I can't. Oh my god.
I really feel like I've understood the whole gift part of this drawing thing now.
Not me. That is atrocious.
How's it? How have you been? How you doing, Sandra? Are you okay? Hopefully she's hanging in there. All right.
I'm pretty happy with mine. I think I understood the assignment.
I'll let you know that I'm flying down to Indiana.
Oh, you're coming down to Indiana today?
I'm gonna fly down to Indiana to challenge you. Yeah, I'm gonna fight you for your open challenge surprise.
Oh, I'm excited now.
Ooh.
What is this?
Oh wow, this is a little romantic.
Could not tell you.
Kind of remind me to take a sip of. Are you gonna get one in, Sandra? She did.
I'm trying again. It was too fast.
What is the boit?
Oh wow, the tax advisor. I was trying to type the notebook, but then it says
I love how the heart is green though.
Very good.
I love how we voted for each other.
You guys are the cuties then.
We totally didn't plan to give each other points. There we go. Oh my god. I hope mine just doesn't come up.
Hell yes.
It's gonna come up. It's so bad.
No one's gonna understand. I don't even understand.
I think it will be okay.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Wait. They look like just little gremlins.
Yeah, like a little Billie. What's this? Oh.
All right.
Oh my god.
Good.
Oh, the choices here are all fire.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh. Yeah. That is good. That was
Thank you. Thank
Why
you.
didn't I think of that?
Is it really that?
Yeah.
Wow.
What's American Girl dolls?
Oh, you don't know what American Girl dolls are?
No.
They're like these creepy dolls that are like a good foot tall.
Yes,
That like
and they've got-
everybody wanted when they were a kid.
They
I'll
have
show you
very
pictures.
elaborate
Costumes.
costumes and whatnot. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
I feel like they look like they're getting peed on, and I don't know how to.
Right, they have to give me 3 colors. Are you okay?
I thought the same thing. I'm like, that's not it.
The awkward pause of us all
They
trying.
gave me 3 colors. I went with what I had.
The choice.
Short stack pancakes. Holy.
It's like syrup now. Someone said mancake, so I think syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That worked for me. That really worked for me. Good job.
You understood the assignment.
Oh, heck yeah.
It was a very strange prompt.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not. Oh. Wait, what?
Interesting. What- All right. A couple at this. We were all on the same theme for this one.
Yeah, we understood.
It seemed
I
like
like
the
the little
obvious one.
stars.
A lot of good options.
Aw.
Oh.
Sorry, Sandra.
See, you were kind of close.
Yeah. Tell me I got this one, and I was just like, yeah, you could not convince me how to draw this.
Oh, roses.
Hey, those are the favorites. The one that were all the favorites that were picked.
Would you look
Good
at that?
job.
I'm sad you beat me. Very, very angry now.
Well, I'm sorry I beat everyone because you're all supposed to be my guests. So it's kind of weird. I know you guys are busy. Do you have time
feel
for
like this
another
is a
round
setup.
or?
I'm cool with whatever. Do you want to do one more round?
Yeah, I mean, if you like, I know you guys are busy. Maybe we could do just one more
I'm
round.
super down.
All right. Now that we're warmed up, right?
Yeah, of course.
Now that we're warmed up.
Oh, I have to show you what American Girl dolls are after this because I think they're creepy. Yes.
Do you have American Girl dolls?
So my grandma keeps like all of my mom's like I was like a really weird kid, so I did not like I didn't like dolls, but my mom did when she like was growing up. So my grandma has like all of these old dolls in her basement, and they scare me.
Oh my god, they look huge.
Yeah, they're huge. I told you they're a good solid foot.
Yeah, they're really big.
Oh my god, that's $100.
Yeah, they're
They really are.
expensive.
And how many do you have, or does she still hang on to? Let's put it that way.
There's like a good solid like 8 or 9 just chilling in the basement. But my mom was more of a Barbie's girl, but my grandma has some that are still in the package that are worth like a stupid amount of money. And I'm like, why do these exist?
Exactly right. It's very strange. All right.
Dolls are so creepy. I don't know why.
I don't know why. They're just designed that way, I guess. Billie, I think you have the opportunity to you have the prompt to go with the same players, right? We'll just go right ahead.
Same players.
Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it.
Dude.
Now that we're warmed up, right?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Okay. So
I'm pretty good at this, and I'm not gonna be. Let's disgrace my country. in this room.
Oh no! Oh no! Can't say
didn't-
that now.
Didn't realize you were playing for all of Australia right now.
We are. We are, especially with this prompt. I felt it,
Oh, the anger.
everyone's so excited.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, we'll see how that works. We'll see how that works.
I think I did good.
I'm pretty sure you did good. You probably did better than me on this one.
I'm so sad there's not an undo button, so I have to like, if I make a wrong line, I'm like, okay, what can I make this into? It's like the Bob Ross thing of like the happy accident.
The happiest, you have to live with them. You just have to live with them.
You don't look very confident.
I had like, you have a big screen too, like your phone is
Oh,
big, you know
yeah.
what I mean?
I feel like yours are like pretty. Mine's just taller.
Look, I'm just trying to make excuses here. I'm purely trying to sound like
It's
I think it's on purpose.
There's other obstacles that you're facing.
Got those stubby fingers, you know.
The scribbles. I feel like the owl in this one looks like he's very like confident in what he was doing. Oh.
Let's see.
Sometimes it's when you see actually, you know, like on the game displayed for everyone, that's when you get it. You feel a little more embarrassed about what you did. That's kind of what I'm feeling right now. I'm really curious to see which one is the decoy in this.
I know, it could be anything.
Because they're all plausible.
I like opening the folder of my issues.
Folder got me.
That's good. That's the one.
Oh. I really thought it was monkeys jumping on a bed for a minute. I'm not gonna lie.
I was like, accordion folder. When's the last time I saw one of those?
This reminds me of school and it made me upset. I was like, no. Oh.
Just the manila folder.
Is this the best one we've seen yet?
Oh.
Are we saying it's doing good?
Yeah. What?
You have any idea what it is?
No, but it made me upset. I was like, oh, the poor thing.
Let's see what we got here.
I think we all know who we're voting for.
I like how nobody could tell what animal it was. The color choices didn't help.
I feel like the color choices are never good.
Good job, Sandra. I really like that one.
Yes.
That is it's an interesting possum.
Wow.
Look, maybe
You're
our
just on
possums are
it.
different. Maybe our possums are different.
I was still like very like
My
happy
two
about
brain cells are
Sorty.
really just putting in the work
Oh.
today.
What are you doing, Zoe? Hi, friend.
I like the little extra speed you put on it.
Ah, I'm being attacked.
Hmm.
Hi, Zoe. You just want to love on everybody, huh? No kisses.
Oh,
No kisses.
Zoe.
Oh yeah.
Attack the phone. Ah, I
Hello,
love you
friend.
too. There's
She loves
so
you
many
so
friends.
much. Look at
You're
that.
distracting from the game. Oh, you're so cute. You chilled out now. You got enough love.
Hey, good job, Billie.
Woo!
You love the history points.
I'd have
Yeah.
probably got.
I'm going great.
You're doing great, sweetie. You're only 5 points behind.
I'm ready.
Oh,
Next
my
round,
God.
I got this.
Oh, it says my name.
I
It
know.
occurred to me that that was just like
Why does it look so evil?
Just getting yourself in there.
Hmm.
I don't know how to spell.
You do have to be careful about the spelling sometimes.
Me
There you go.
I definitely didn't get it.
Wow. Okay.
Can we
all
just
good
ignore?
There you go. Well, I went with the obvious answer, clearly.
If it's actually this one, I will laugh so hard.
Right?
I feel like we got a repeat.
Another. Really?
The
Wow.
evil
Oh, we
American
did have a
Girl
repeat.
dog.
I'm like, what do
I
you
thought
want me to
it was
do?
funny.
And they're all in the basement. Hi, Billie. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Hey,
horrifying.
look, you're third place. You're above me. You're doing good.
Exactly.
All right.
I don't know
Oh,
what this is. I don't know what that is. Gotta Google.
she has to Google it.
Got to make sure you understand what the theme is.
You have to be kidding me.
This is not correct, but we move.
You doing okay over there, Charlie?
No, this is harder than wrestling.
This is harder than wrestling.
Death matches have nothing on this.
Ah, walk in the park.
I think I made mine too hard.
I just got a really hard prompt. I'm like, you have to be kidding me.
I feel like they get harder as we go.
That makes sense.
All right, I think I got this. All right, cool.
Okay. Good enough. I tried.
That's all. As long as you put in your best effort.
Oh.
Ooh.
Do not cross. I guess that's just what it is. The more and more I play this, the worse I feel like I am at spelling. I have to second guess myself. Please just do not cross.
Do not cross. You go. Sometimes it's the simplest, right? Charlie just stuck to the basics.
Yeah.
Just to the basics.
I was like, that's pretty smart if you just write literally what it is. I might start doing that.
She said this is a new...
I'm a simple woman.
Sandra's running away with the top spot.
Like, that's so long. And now I have to...
The anger. Your character just...
I want to say that.
It's just gonna be on your Twitter and everybody's gonna be like, what the heck? That just brought back memories for me.
Right.
I'm just like the little just pop out of the trash can.
I'm here for the pillow fort one.
That was the one.
I miss like being little and
I
making
can understand how that was.
teleport.
Oh, was it?
It was the one. Yeah.
That's
so
what a
funny.
time. I'm so uncoordinated to where if I tried making a pillow fort, I just crash into it. Guys, be nice.
Be nice. I truly don't know.
Slow it down.
Maybe slow back down.
Faster?
Faster. What's gonna make it better?
Nothing.
Oh.
Good job.
We understood what you were going for, but
I've never heard of a blow dart in my life. Oh, I had to Google it.
Yeah, it's basically what you draw. Yeah.
Mm.
Not cancel.
Some good.
Oh my god. I want to write something for this, and I'm not going to.
I feel like you should. Just go for it. This makes me so happy. Just
The little dude.
the little dude that walks across the screen. What are they in? A submarine?
We'll see how.
I would cry.
Oh, oh fuck! It just entered. No.
There's some pretty good ones.
I love how the ocean got canceled.
Thank you, thank you.
Stealing
Thank you,
all
thank
the
you.
points.
Cancel the ocean. That's that. Oh, I thought that was the real one. That's not the real one.
Period.
Mm-mm.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
God bless.
I literally
Here we
just
are.
got it. Okay,
Yeah. That's all I could come up with.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
that's very
You
good,
did pretty
actually.
good this round.
No,
Hey, look at
that's a hard
that.
one. There you go.
Yeah.
Good job, Sandra.
I was the most liked.
And there you
Look
go.
at look at this. I got the thumbs up.
Look at
You got the
you.
thumbs up
The little
flower.
animation is so cute.
I want to save my animations.
I think you can, right? You have to
Yeah.
share
Yeah.
them. Yeah, there you go.
I want my little gif of my face. I feel like we should be able to get it.
Or the or at the very least, right? The cancel the Beatles one.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was a good one.
Cancel them all.
I was like, what is going to be funny, but I can still just make sense of this prompt.
if it can just make. You did good. I like better. I was like, oh, okay. It's actually clever. It's actually really clever.
No, that was fun.
That was good.
That was fun. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone, today. Why don't and I know you guys are super busy. You've got a lot going on over the next few months, actually. And Charlie, you're in North America, and I know you've got some big GCW matches coming up, don't you?
Yeah, me and Rena in Detroit. So I'm excited for that. Nervous, but excited.
But it is going to be exciting, absolutely. If everyone wants to keep an eye on all your everything you're doing, where should they follow you on social media?
On Twitter and Instagram at Charlie Evans Pro is where I post real dumb shit, but I'm funny, so.
It's all a beautiful hodgepodge of magnificence.
It is.
There you go.
It is, and I got my Twitter back, so that's good.
Very good indeed.
Thank God.
There you go. Billie, what about you? What have you got going on these days?
I'm helping run a show today, which is going to be fun. We have Fright Night 3, the search for Fright Night 2 in Jeffersonville, Indiana. So that's going to be fun.
So you're heading off to Indiana there?
Yeah, it's only a 30-minute drive from my house, so it's not far at all, which is nice for once. But that's what I have going on today. But other stuff you can find on my social media, which is at Billie Starkz, BILLIE, and then Starkz is STARKZ.
There you go. And Sandra, what about you? What's what's down the pipeline for you?
Yeah.
Oh, she's
I'm
breaking up
making
pretty
a few debuts. I'm debuting in Washington at the end of the
Oh my God, not me breaking up so bad.
No, you're okay. Continue. Go ahead. Go
Can
ahead.
you hear me at all?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Oh, I'm going to be debuting in Washington for Without a Cause in 5cc, and then later on next month I'll be debuting for LA Fights, which is GCW's West Coast show. So I'm really excited for that.
You're going to be in those in the first. Is it the first LA Fights that they're doing?
Yes, I believe it's their
Oh,
first
that's
show
awesome.
that they're doing. Well, I'm sure they've done shows in LA, but like for LA Fights, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
But yeah.
Fantastic. Well,
Hyped for that.
and where can people follow you on the social media stuff?
On Twitter, you can find me at Sandra Moonpie, with an E at the end of the moon, and then on Instagram it's Sandra_moon.
There you go. Fantastic. Well, I want to thank you all for taking some time, just chilling, taking a step back and relaxing. Thank you, Billie, for putting this together. Billie helped us out getting all these wonderful humans around the table
Billie.
here.
No problem. I love all these beautiful faces.
There you go. So and there's much reason to love them because they're all fantastic and talented and amazing. And thank you for just hanging out today with us on the Women's 150 celebration weekend. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Until soon.
Bye.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.
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 There we go. There you have it, folks. So that was fun. That was fun. A nice time. And see, Billie was really cool. She reached out to see, hey, what can I do, kind of thing. And I was like, I've got a show later on in the day. You sure you want to do this? And she got some people together. It's fantastic. So shout out to her and to Charlie and to Sandra for joining us. That was a lot of fun. And thank you all for joining us during this live stream today. We're about to wrap up the live part, but I cannot underscore hard enough how much more content we have coming up on the Bell to Bells YouTube channel right here. So make sure that you subscribe not to miss a thing. We're chatting with Mickie James. When I say we, Ella J is chatting with Mickie James. She had a great interview with her a couple of days ago. So before she won the Knockouts title, but still, it's going to be interesting. They talk for a long time. It's a great convo. Be sure to stick around to check that out. We've got a panel coming up as well of women podcasters and media members in wrestling, talking about representation in media. And that's going to debut as a premiere. So hopefully we can have a conversation around that too. That'll be awesome. We've got Ty Conti coming up for an interview as well. NWA World Women's Champion Camille as well. We've got Angelina Love. We've got the NWA Tag Team Champions, World Women's Tag Team Champions, the Hex, Allison Kay, Marty Bell. Got a Yuka Sakazaki interview up. And that's what's, and we have a surprise at the end of the day that you will not want to miss. You better trust me on that. And then we have content from yesterday as well. We've got a great interview with Mercedes Martinez. She doesn't give interviews a lot, but she gave one to us, and that was fantastic. She talks about Retribution. She talks about All Out 2019. She talks about her formative days as well. Fantastic stuff. Deonna Purrazzo interview. Trish Adora interview. Subscribe to Bell to Bells right now. You're not going, that way you won't miss a thing. You can also follow us on Twitter at Bell to Bells, and there's also the main website at belltobells.com. I want to take a minute to thank everyone who joined us today on the live stream. Kevin Wackelvanny, the editor-in-chief of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Kristen Ashley of Bell to Bells and frequent PWI contributor as well. Thank you both so much. JPQ as well, and Ella J. Appreciate you guys being on the panel this morning. I can't thank the Church of Joshi girls enough, Kayla and Alex, to have been a part of this as well. We were really excited to put them in the same room as Akki and Suruga, of ChocoPro. That's something that was really, really exciting, and I'm glad we were able to put that together. Thank you, Billie. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Sandra, for doing this as well. And thanks to everyone who, near or far, helped us out to put all of this together. Ella J, who conducted interviews as well with us. Amber Jade and Candace and Bree, who wrote pieces up on belltobells.com. I don't know why I suddenly forgot the name of the site. But thank you very much to all three of you for contributing on the written side. To the PR departments, the contacts that we had. Thank you all. Just thanks all around. The celebration continues. We did the live thing, but the celebration continues. And honestly, I am overwhelmed with how much support that we got and how into it people were to just be a part of it in the way that they could. And it really feels great. It really was amazing. We also got Riley Shepard. I forgot about that. How could I forget Riley? Riley's coming up too. Talking LARPing with Riley. It's good stuff. Hope you guys stick around. Hope you guys subscribe to Bell to Bells. And thank you for being a part of this Women's 150 celebration weekend. So I guess we'll end it on that. Why not? I'm Mr. Warren Hayes. Thank you all for being here.